The Zither Sword King kneels before a man who has been watching the Devil Palace for decades, and the truth he brings shatters every assumption. Zhuo Fan's shield doesn't even tremble against a Sword King's full assault. 3-year-olds hit harder. Leave a like and follow the path to see whose mask falls next. Are you certain that the Devil Palace Lord is in there? 3 months flew by. The Zither Sword King was in a lavish hall, framed by a soothing light and in elegant clothes. A man kneeled before him, old and bald. Sword King, I've been scouting the Devil Palace for decades, while the Palace Lord's whereabouts are always unknown. But thanks to my broad experience these many years, I drew some conclusions at long last based on his known locations. I went there to try my luck and actually came to find one of the 5 Dharma Kings, Sparrow King. She and Beast King are the most common of the 5 that go with the Palace Lord. Her presence is solid proof that the Palace Lord is there in Swordfall. The Zither Sword King nodded and waved him off. Bald Demon bowed and took his leave. Well, I didn't know that the Zither Sword King wanted to see me so much, ha ha ha. A laughter sounded around. Then you ought to have a rough idea what my palace is about. Why go through all this trouble tracking me down for decades? The Zither Sword King and Bald Demon flinched, their hearts jumping in their chest. They whipped their head about and finally noticed the extra youth with covered eyes sitting in his Sword King throne, a playful yet insidious smile on his face. He had a girl and a youth on either side, staring them down like hawks. The tokens on their waist glittered in the light in a dazzling fashion. Bald Demon's eyes went wide, almost soiling himself as he stammered, Beast King and Sparrow King, why you're the Palace Lord, the Dark Demon Lord of the Devil Palace. Zither Sword King's brow quivered, caught by surprise at the sudden appearance. Then he turned grave. Zhuo Fan nodded. It would be a darn shame for all that effort tracking me down all those decades not to show up, don't you think? So I figured why not come to you and put you at ease, ha ha ha. Gulp, Bald Demon's knees were jelly, sweat pouring down like rain. He turned a pleading look to the Zither Sword King, waiting on his decision. Boss, you put me up to this. This is your turf, you gotta help me. The Zither Sword King had no time to mind his existential crisis, staring hard at Zhuo Fan before taking out a Millennium Zither. He flicked his hands and a soothing melody sounded, releasing 7 sword energies straight at Zhuo Fan. They say the Dark Demon Lord is beyond strong, at the peak of the world's strength. I would like to test my meager skill against your lordships if sire deems me worthy. 7 notes obscure sword, Bald Demon lit up. How dare you? Kaior raged, but Zhuo Fan waved her back. Zhuo Fan snickered from the grand throne. He didn't need to even move as a shield formed around him. The 7 strikes backed by the power of a Sword King fizzled out on contact. They couldn't even get the shield to shake. Even a 3-year-old was stronger. Zither Sword King's eyes shook from shock, his spine taken with a chill. The Dark Demon Lord is beyond monstrous. My 7 notes obscure sword couldn't so much as touch him, cancelled out like nothing. This can't be happening. Bald Demon was gaping wide, his eyes bugging out. His innards, however, writhed in regret for going after such a ludicrous expert like the Palace Lord. Not even a Sword King's attack could make him flinch. Since it was out that he was the Zither Sword King's spy, then his life was forfeit, especially since his boss couldn't save him. He felt like crying then and there. The thrill of doing all he wanted in the lands for being under the Zither Sword King got to his head. He thus disregarded the Devil Palace Lord and his kings, taking them for overinflated rumors compared with the might of a true Sword King from the central area. Why else would they stick to the shadows and be so sneaky about it? Reality, though, proved otherwise. Shit, they're insanely strong. You call yourself a Sword King when you can't even get him to twitch a finger. Bald Demon bowed at once to Zhuo Fan. Spare me, Palace Lord, I had no choice. The Zither Sword King made me, please. Sword King, did that suffice your curiosity? I now have a little curiosity of my own, and was wondering if you could tell me why would you insist on going through such lengths to find me out. Of the 10 Sword Kings, the Zither Sword King is the most casual and relaxed of them, not going out of your way. My people had an easy time working in your area as well, making me not even see the Zither Sword King as an enemy. Ignoring the background noise, Liu Mubai had Zhuo Fan's full attention and smile. The Zither Sword King chuckled with joy before all mirth vanished like it never existed. I am grateful for the Palace Lord's indulgence, but before I answer, would it be presumptuous of me to ask the Palace Lord something? With the Devil Palace spread throughout the 5 lands, do you have any intentions to take down the Sword Star Empire? Yes, Zhuo Fan was quick to reply. Why, it's in my way and has to be removed. Zhuo Fan was as earnest as he was serious. Zhuo Fan needed to set up the recoil array that ran through all the lands. Sword Star Empire held power in the central area and was sure to interfere with his project if left be. It's not like I can waltz in saying, hey, let me set this up real quick and I'll be on my way. Why, be it territory or assets, all were based on power. Why would anyone talk with you when you had nothing to your name? And in the case you had the power, why waste time with empty chatter when taking was so much easier? For himself and his goal, Zhuo Fan had to take the empire down. All that was left was for the right moment to avail itself. Zither Sword King stared hard at him and noticed the truth. He smirked, his eyes shining with hope. Then I can be frank with the palace lord as well. Let's work together. Kyor and young Sanzi shared a curious look, while the bawling bald demon choked on his tears and snot as he shot a wide look at him. Boss, are you high? You didn't send me after him to take him out, but to cooperate. What the hell? Why? Zhuo Fan saw it coming, judging by the flat look. Give me one good reason why I should trust you. We have the same goal, you and I, the demise of the Sword Star Empire. The Zither Sword King sighed. Before the Sword Star Empire came to rule the central area, it was the Liu clan that wielded Sundering Sword, my clan. The invincible sword challenged everyone left and right, rising above us all. He is indeed a genius, becoming unstoppable even before he got to understand Sundering Sword's art, able to take it by force from my clan. Then the Sword Star Empire grew and swallowed all of the central area. Any dissidents were culled, and my clan was left to decay. But the hope that one day we might recover the Sundering Sword and destroy the empire was passed down through generations, all the way to me. My little insight into the Sundering Sword art was all thanks to my ancestors, allowing me to rise to the rank of a Sword King and into the heart of power. It may be ancient history, or perhaps the invincible sword had defeated too many experts for him to remember me as well. In any case, he has no suspicion of me. I have stayed all this time as the Central Area's Sword King for the right timing to get back at them. So you came for me? Yes, I noticed the Devil Palace decades ago, quicker than anyone else, and knew therein lay my chance. I just didn't know how far it would go or grow enough to threaten the empire. For this, I planted a spy to observe. The Zither Sword King was excited. I'm glad to know the wait was not in vain. The palace lord is a heavenly genius. In a century, you set up a faction that can fight with the empire's 10 sword kings, while lordship yourself are even unmatched. I am now certain that with both of us working together, the empire will fall. Santong shared a look. Bald Demon was looking stumped as well. Why, so all that spying was so he could join hands with the palace lord, but aren't I from the Devil Palace already? What joining? He always felt that he had been a double agent, only to find out he was just a simple one since both sides wanted to work together. What was the point of even doing all that then? So the two could mediate. Zhuo Fan paused for a long time before shaking his head. I appreciate the Zither Sword King's thoughts, but the time isn't ripe. Seeing Sir so anxious, it will make our cooperation stifled. Fighting alone would be preferred. Why the hesitation, Palace Lord? Many reasons, starting with the Empire still holding strong and would only prolong a war. Or in the case of a win, my palace will come into the light and draw the eyes of the other lands, putting us in danger. As for the most crucial reason, the odds are slim at best. Why do you say that? Zither Sword King shook. Zhuo Fan said, the invincible sword. Him, Zither Sword King scoffed. Palace Lord, the old guy hasn't been around for a century. If not dead, then on his deathbed, frail and weak. Have you seen him? Zither Sword King paused at the question, hesitating. Bailey Jingwei and the Emperor are the only ones who know his condition. The Zither Sword King nodded. True, he's not about to let it spread, especially when there's so much danger lurking about. Zither Sword King, they say you're quite casual, but now you're acting against this info. Is it on purpose or made so? Filled with nothing but hatred, you'll be prone to anxiety and rash decisions. We shall not be cooperating. Goodbye. Zhuo Fan stood and walked out with Kyor and Gu Santong at his sides. The Zither Sword King rushed. Hold on, Palace Lord, that's not an issue. I've waited for so long and can still wait for a few more years. Sword King, you might say that, but that is your nature. To be frank, I don't want dead weights. A man that has no control over himself and only seeks revenge can never achieve anything. Then how can we cooperate? Zither Sword King's eyes shook. Zhuo Fan paused. Sword King, you're a smart man and should know that cooperation isn't limited to joining hands. Being on the same page will suffice. While our aims differ, our target is the same. Knowing this, you can tell how we can work together. Ha ha ha. Zither Sword King was silent. About that rhyme of yours, make another when you have the time. Zhuo Fan waved and left with his children. Zither Sword King winced and sighed. Dark Demon Lord is so peculiar. Bailey Jingwei has met his match again. Sword King, so you? Bald Demon stuck to his side, but then his body turned into a bloody mist, drifting away. The Zither Sword King relaxed his hand, no shift in features at all. You know too much. Father, how should we deal with that traitor, Bald Demon? The trio walked among a busy street, with Gu Santong feeling annoyed as he looked back. Zhuo Fan dismissed his worry. That's no traitor, but a spy, one that hid for decades in my palace. Liu Mubai owns him, and he isn't about to worsen our relationship over one small trifle. Liu Mubai is bound to clean up. Let others take care of their dogs and not undermine their authority. Wah, he knows too much. Would you have left him around to leak the private meeting with the Devil Palace Lord if you were in his shoes? Ha ha ha, Liu Mubai planned on removing him the minute he was open about his intentions. Zhuo Fan grinned. Young Sanzi nodded. Kaior asked, Father, were you just talking about the rhyme that spread across the lands? It sounds like we're trying to ruin the empire. Did Liu Mubai spread it? Should be. Zhuo Fan nodded. I picked up from his speech that he is fixated on seeing the Sword Star Empire burn, and the rhyme came to me as a borrowed knife tactic. He knows we have the strength to oppose it, so he let the rhyme spread and inflame the hatred on both sides. We could have had no intentions for the empire for all he cared, because now we're enemies for sure. He's only working with us to make sure the Sword Star Empire is done for. Sometimes, rumors are worse, especially one like this that gets on the nerves of a ruler. The two of us are now fire and water on a collision course. I don't mind him doing this, but I hate being used. That's why I mentioned the rhyme at the end to gauge his reaction, whether he was behind it or not, but also to warn him that I know and not to get smart with me. I have the final say, and I'm not about to play his game. Young Sanzi and Kaior nodded. Hey, did you hear? Dragon-cleaving Sword King is going after the Luo Alliance leader in Western lands. Do you think he has any chance? A Sword King targeting the Luo Alliance leader? Isn't that so low of him? He has his status to think about. How is that low? They say the Dragon-cleaving Sword King's decision has nothing to do with the two lands. It's to fulfill a 1,000-year-old promise. Someone brought him the lost painting and asked for revenge for the imperial family a century ago. This is their world. The four lands could know about it as well, but I don't think they'll intervene since it's not about the two lands. But he's the pillar of Western lands, with him gone. And he's part of their world too, and no one can run from resentments. With the Sword King stepping in, even with millions of soldiers, the Luo Alliance leader will die. It'll be child's play for a Sword King to get their head, go for him and not waste time on the soldiers. Right, a particular gossip pierced Zhuo Fan's thoughts. Zhuo Fan shuddered and his brow tense. Danking Shen is going after Yunhai. Father, should I go stop him? Young Sanzi offered. Zhuo Fan raised his hand. Something's not right. Why does the whole world know of Danking Shen's plan to kill him? Father, what do you mean? Suspicion comes from trickery. Danking Shen has always been quiet, while the one asking the favor wouldn't have let it leak to warn them. Celebrate after the job is done. Or is he so sure Danking Shen can do it? Zhuo Fan mulled it over and then said, Kaior, Young Sanzi, find out the five lands' reaction to this. I'll stop old Dan myself. I fear this was a trick all along. The two bowed, yes, father. In Blackwind Mountain, the base of the Luo Alliance, the main hall was decorated for a special occasion. Alliance leader Luo Yunhai's grand birthday, oblivious to the imminent danger. Experts and renowned guests came from all over, with every figure in the Western lands present here. Even the 9 sects were here to offer respects. Luo Alliance leader, may you live long and happy. Sect leader Li, come, sit. Luo Alliance leader, you give me much favor welcoming me yourself. Clan head Zhang, it's only proper. Sir, coming to my birthday is the real honor, ha ha ha. Luo Yunhai and Yuer were in front of the hall, greeting the many guests with a stiff smile. He sometimes glanced at Yuer, giving a bitter smile. Yuer is 150 years old, worthy of a grand birthday. I said not to hold it, but you insisted, and now look how much a pain it is. Whose fault is it if not yours? Yuer rolled her eyes, giving him a sharp look. You wanted to wrest for power since a century ago. For that purpose, we need to make connections, and a grand birthday is the best occasion. Steward Zhuge said it himself, a small celebration every 5 years with a large one every decade. Making sure to invite all with renown in the Western lands, increasing from one event to another while using the upright conduct of the Luo Alliance to sway the people. Sure, a grand birthday is a hassle, but you can't deny its effects. These decades, not only has the Luo Alliance been growing swiftly, but Deer's voice has gained more and more weight in the Western lands. Better than the Double Dragon Manor, who stays closed up for years on end. I believe that the 9 sects trust Deer far more than the Double Dragon Manor. Steward Zhuge's plan worked like a charm. Luo Yunhai's smile fell and nodded. Yeah, their work has excellent results. Luo Alliance has gained more and more friends. I'm just sad that you have to go through the toil with me. Dear, it's my job. Yuer blushed with a sweet smile. Luo Yunhai looked around oddly. Now, where did that girl run off to now? Yuer looked around curiously. Yeah, where is she? I don't see her gophers either. Who are you calling a gopher, Yuer? A tall, middle-aged man walked over with a smile. Ha ha ha, that brat has been taken by your charming daughter for years now, always after her like a lost puppy. You just can't drive him off either, just like a shadow. Why not just seal the deal already? Yuer's face twitched and huffed. You wish. How's your son fit for my daughter? Luo Yunhai laughed. Brother Xingyun, Sifan, and Jianshan are still young. Let's give them a couple more years. How are they young? Long Xingyun chuckled, looking hopeful. Brother Yunhai, our friendship began since Tianyu. We built the Luo alliance together. The two grew up together, childhood sweethearts that only have eyes for each other. Why not make it official? Ha ha ha. What, eyeing each other? My daughter barely even looks at him. Yuer gave him a dark look while Luo Yunhai chuckled. Long Xingyun, after all this time, I see you're as rotten as ever. The whole alliance knows of your son's incompetence. How can he be a match for the Luo clan's pride and joy? Someone shouted in the distance. Who said that? Who insulted my son? Long Xingyun snapped back, only to snort at the speaker. Well, what's it to you? You're not part of the Luo alliance anyway, so don't butt in. Thump, a cold-faced, middle-aged man stepped closer with a split mustache and flickering eyes. His stare pierced hearts. He was the head venerable of Sword God Sect, one of the 7 founding elders of Luo Alliance, Zai Xiaofeng's eldest son, Zai Tianxing. He began with a gesture of respect to Luo Yunhai, offered his gifts, then turned to Long Xingyun. I may not be, but my dad is. My son grew up in the alliance as well. You can say anything else, but when it comes to the junior's marriage, I have to speak my mind. What the hell does that have to do with you? Everything. My son thinks the world of the Luo clan's daughter. Zai Tianxing cupped his hands again. Brother Yunhai, I've always been fascinated by swords and failed to guide him. Thank you for always looking after him. Now that he's all grown up, I wish to fulfill my duty as a father. Seeing his honest intentions for your daughter, I would like to make the humble request for her hand. Luo Yunhai and Yuer lowered their heads in awkward silence. And another showed up for marriage. Then I won't impose and make it hard on the Luo alliance leader. Long Xingyun sneered, saluting Luo Yunhai again. Brother Yunhai, that settles it then. Let's discuss the details later. Curses, how is that settled? Get lost. Zai Tianxing shoved Long Xingyun aside and took his place to offer his sincerity to the two. Long Xingyun replied with a kick. You left Tianyu, yet you meddle into Tianyu's matters still. The two old friends started bickering like biddies. Though never resorting to violence, the scene they made wasn't any smaller. Luo Yunhai shook his head, helpless. Sword God sect leader has arrived, the herald shouted, and Wen Tao smiled as he saluted, taken back at the display. Venerable Zai Y, senior brother. Zai Tianxing's face twitched, stopping the quarrel. Wen Tao looked at the two and cracked up. Ha ha ha, how lively. Venerable Zai, you're so relaxed now that you're home, unlike your stern attitude in the sect. Zai Tianxing rolled his eyes, yet he had a smile on his face. Sect leader Wen, it's been ages. Luo Yunhai cupped his hands. Wen Tao waved off the excessive courtesy. Please, we're all brothers here. There's no need for that. I remember like yesterday how the Luo clan kept me safe on the front lines of the Five Lands War. It's only natural. The Luo clan has joined the 9 sects before, all due to sect leader Wen's support. We had all done it for Brother Zhu while you saved my life. They can't compare. Anyway, we became family from that moment on. Brother Luo, congratulations. Wen Tao cupped his hands again. Luo Yunhai returned the gesture with the same joy and sincerity. Hellion Flame sect leader Yan Mo and Ultimate Clarity sect leader Wu Qinkyu have arrived. The two stepped lightly to the bustle, with Wu Qinkyu laughing. Brothers, you're all here. I see that we're late. I'll drink to make up for it. Yunhai, congratulations. I would have held my own grand birthday, but we're all sects leaders and no longer part of the secular world. At the very least, I get to meet with my sworn brothers, ha ha ha. Yanmo smiled and nodded, offering his respects alongside Wu Qinkyu. Sect leader Wu, don't joke. How can the mundane world's customs be of notice to the secluded sects? Luo Yunhai joked. When Tao asked, what of Yilin? You still haven't found him after all these years. With Zhuo Fan gone, he's at the top of Western lands. When Tao gave a thumbs up, don't remind me. Ever since the war, little junior brother vanished mere days after returning, and I haven't heard from him since. When Tao sighed, many seniors have been missing since the war as well. It's as if they all went into seclusion after, no longer concerning themselves with fame and riches. The men shared a look and sank into silence. The 4 lands had lost most of their forces and only grew further apart from the central area's level. Please sit, as it's my grand birthday. Let's not talk about sad matters. Why not join me in drinking our fill? Knowing their worries, Luo Yunhai smiled and proposed to pull them out of their sorrow. The men laughed. The guests kept pouring in well into dusk. Zhu Chengfeng and Ling Wucheng looked over the gift list and shared a frown. Stewards, what's wrong? The two bowed. Young miss. Luo Yuncheng took the list and smiled. 9th grade pills, 10th grade spiritual weapons, 11th grade ingredients. The gifts have only been increasing over the decades. Yunhai is starting to get their attention, ha ha ha. Yes, but it's too soon to tell if it's for good or worse. Zhu Chengfeng sighed. Luo Yuncheng was puzzled. Zhuo Chengfeng bowed, young miss, we've anticipated this outcome ever since clan head decided on moving up the ladder at all costs. What outcome? Double Dragon Manor is malcontent by the year. Zhuo Chengfeng sighed, the Luo alliance has enjoyed a swift growth over the century, winning many hearts. With the western lands having a bleak future, Double Dragon Manor couldn't be happy. The first half of the century, clan heads' birthday parties all had an envoy from the Double Dragon Manor, offering encouraging gifts. Later on, as our alliance gained clout and the western lands followed us more and more, Double Dragon Manor gave us the cold shoulder over the next 2 decades and lessened their gifts. The last 30 years there hasn't been any, the period marking the peak of our influence. It came so that when discussions of defenses were held, the Double Dragon Manor was bypassed and the 9 sects discussed it only with us. It is no different from going over an emperor's authority in his court and getting killed in the process. Luo Yuncheng's brow shook. You mean Double Dragon Manor wants Yunhai? No, it has yet to come to that. Zhuo Chengfeng refuted, the Luo alliance is vital to western lands. Be it from reasons or excuses, Double Dragon Manor would never move against us unless they want to lose their status in western lands. The world of practitioners has its own rules. Without a good reason for war, they would earn everyone's disgust and hatred. Double Dragon Manor wants to rule western lands and won't violate this. Alas. They have their eyes on us to find our weakness. The minute we do anything out of line, they'll capitalize on it. So the fiercer things get, the more collected we must be and avoid any trouble. Luo Yuncheng nodded and sighed. This is Yunhai's choice and has to bear its burden along with its dangers. Zhuo Fan had told him so before he left and must be ready for it. Clan head is indeed ready to reach the top. It's very similar to Steward Zhuo. True, his guide has been Zhuo Fan all along. Luo Yuncheng looked at the sky with a radiant smile. In the bustling hall, with everyone taking seats, Luo Yunhai arrived at his seat with his lady. He saluted everyone with a smile, sect leaders, venerables, clan heads, elders. It is an honor to have all of you at my humble birthday. The Luo Alliance thanks you, as does everyone here. The two bowed. Luo Alliance leader, you're too kind, ha ha ha. The festivities began with the guests returning the gesture. Luo Yunhai said, as only a few days ago the 9 sect leaders and I have discussed the border defense, the celebration has been rushed. I only hope that you may overlook any slightness. The two bowed again. Please, Luo Alliance leader, it's no trouble. Everyone was modest. Luo Yunhai was very nice, but all the veteran cultivators picked up on his meaning. His talks with the 9 sect leaders for the border defense showed the Luo clan's status, that of the marshal over all of western lands, while calling the 9 sects fellow brothers. Showing their close ties, the position was special and also firm, making so any that was discontent would be shooting himself in the foot and his future in western lands. Such forceful declaration coming from Luo Yunhai was seen more as courtesy and benevolent. We're strong but not oppressive, respectful and thoughtful of all opinions. Or the 2 bows to every guest would not have happened. It made everyone want to be friendly and to respect the Luo clan. By exercising their power, it would only shun the guests away. Luo Alliance leader showed that while strong, he was mild and put their minds at ease. Luo Yunhai watched the prevalent smiles in every direction with a pleased look. Luo Alliance has gained even more friends. An obnoxious laughter then broke the jovial mood. Ha ha ha, it's Luo Alliance leader's big birthday, but I wasn't invited. Sir, you can't go in. Sir, beat it. A 3-meter-tall elder with white hair strutted into the hall following the clamor outside. Next to him were 5 youths, fierce and judging by the unrestrained aura in the Genesis stage. The guards tried stopping them but were just shoved aside. Some guests were startled and whispered, Qin society head Qin Hao, what's he doing here? Isn't he on bad terms with the Luo Alliance? He must have come to ruin the party. This is going to be good. The guests went silent and resumed observing the 2. Alliance leader, they insisted even as we tried to stop them. It's fine, you may go. The guard rushed to report, but Luo Yunhai dismissed him. He then turned to the old man with cupped hands, society head Qin, to what do I owe this most unexpected visit? Yeah, we didn't invite you, sir. So what warranted this forced arrival? Luo Yuncheng stood up with cold eyes. Qin Hao chuckled in derision. Young miss, I know of your willful nature, but to think you'd not even show respect on your brother's birthday. In any case, our clans, we are the largest 2 groups in the western lands. Shouldn't the Luo Alliance leader have invited me as well for his birthday? I was doubtful if maybe brother had misplaced the invitation since you have been so busy with the border and neglected many things. No matter, for here I am to wish you a long life, ha ha ha. Humph, we don't need copycats like you around. Luo Yuncheng mocked. It seems society head Qin expected the feeling to be mutual. Sorry to disappoint. Many of the guests weren't so discreet in hiding their laughter. Qin Hao's face fell. All of Western lands knew that the Luo clan was the first to start a clan alliance, having built it to be the strongest. All the others that came later were imitations, shaky and hardly effective, except for Qin society trying its damnedest to stick close to Luo alliance's model. In the eyes of all, however, the first was a hero, while the second a ne'er-do-well. With the Luo alliance around, the Qin society was overshadowed, doomed to be second for all eternity. The only reason it lasted for so long was because Double Dragon Manor had its back. Luo Yuncheng's copycat remark struck him to the quick and hard, his face darkened by the second. Alliance leader Luo, so you really had no intention of inviting me. But since I'm here now, you wouldn't throw a poor old man out, would you? It'll go against all your alliance stands for. Take a seat, society head Qin. Bringing another plate is of no import. Luo Yunhai chuckled and gestured. Qin Hao gave a look of scorn, not following along. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but seeing how Alliance leader Luo does not wish to see me, I shall leave. But having seen Alliance leader Luo after a long time and on your birthday no less, I couldn't leave without giving a gift. Men, present the gift. Yes, a rugged man bowed and offered a 3-meter-long redwood box after taking it out of his ring. Luo Yunhai looked hard at him, trying to find his angle. Qin Hao's eyes held a savage glint, waving and opening the box to let a flood of scarlet blind the audience. After adjusting to the gaudy show, the people gasped, a top 12th grade spiritual sword. This is my gift to Alliance leader Luo, a treasure fit for a hero. Please accept it, Alliance leader. Qin Hao sneered, giving a mock bow and challenging him with his eyes. The hall exploded in whispers. A 12th grade spiritual weapon is a rarity. Where did he get his hands on such a treasure? Such a high-quality spiritual weapon is a marvel for every land. Even Double Dragon Manor might not have them. I bet even the central area can't have more than a couple. As for the other lands, it's hard to say if they even have one, let alone a top one. All guests turned their eyes to the dazzling scarlet light show in awe. Luo Yunhai was also taken aback. Clan head Qin Hao has come to crash the party, that is certain. Double Dragon Manor must have put him up to this to curb our growth. It's clan head's birthday, and if you can't take the limelight, the Qin society will only grow more outrageous as more social climbers would suck up to him. Lang Wucheng whispered in Luo Yunhai's ear. Luo Yunhai nodded and took in the awe on the guests' faces. He came here to show off so he could poach my allies. I need to stop him or the Luo alliance will lose to him. The 12th grade spiritual weapon, even top quality, isn't the point here but grasping the hearts of the people. But what could he do to fight him on this? Luo Yunhai turned to Qiu Yanhai, whispering, Elder Qiu, you're the best at refining in the alliance. Do you have any masterpieces? Clan head, I am a refiner, but only in the 10th grade and can make an 11th grade at best. I have nothing that can compete with a top 12th grade spiritual weapon like that. Qiu Yanhai was put in difficulty. Luo Yunhai sighed, glaring at Qin Hao yet having no solution. Wu Qinkyu shook his head, whispering to Wen Tao, I heard Double Dragon Manor isn't as welcoming with the Luo alliance, so they turned to Qin society to keep them in check. The rumors are true, I see. It's the only explanation for the Qin society's recent rise. Even if Double Dragon Manor hadn't given such a treasure to the Qin society, just based on their value, they would never show it, let alone gift it. It's like giving up a part of themselves. People only look at gains and losses. Taking out a 12th grade spiritual weapon to strike at Luo alliance shows that Double Dragon Manor is on the move. When Tao sighed, but is Double Dragon Manor what it used to be? No one was there to threaten Double Dragon Manor. Now that there is, of course it changed. Luo alliance isn't dangerous in its growth, but in its commercial dealings with all the lands, using sacred stones as currency. Luo alliance has outgrown Double Dragon Manor, making the latter pointless. Double Dragon Manor has no choice but to switch tactics to gain Western lands under their control. Ha ha ha, I now see why Brother Zhu warned me to step away from the corruption of the mundane to reach Dao. Wen Tao nodded and sighed, looking disappointed. Hao looked at everyone's shocked faces with a vile smirk, cupping his hands to drive in his disdain. Everyone, I've picked out Pyrocloud with nothing but care to give the alliance leader. I couldn't just bring something random, not at such an important event as a grand birthday. Curses, there's hardly any 12th grade spiritual weapons in the world, and you say you're careful. Like you own piles of them, damn show-off. The people grumbled inside, but the glittering spiritual sword pulled their heartstrings harder. Qin Hao was acting like he just came into new money, though it did come with perks. Upstarts were blinded by money and would guarantee to get all his buddies' stuff too. No one was a saint, so in times when one needed help, they would be more than happy to squander money, which went double for upstarts. Alliance leader Luo and I have our differences, but I know to look past them. I give nothing but respect by offering this 12th grade spiritual weapon. Qin Hao knew those looks and grinned. gesturing to offer the scarlet weapon to Luo Yunhai with his eerie gaze. Luo Yunhai's eye twitched, hesitating as he watched that insufferable and gloating smirk. Taking it means losing this bout. Qin Hao was no guest here and barged in just to give him a gift. All signs told to refuse it, since accepting meant greed. The Luo Alliance yearns for Qin society's stuff, and this will strike at their reputation once word spreads to every corner. While refusing, let Qin Hao win. The guy had qualms about throwing such a beauty away, with how rare they were. But since it was all an act and made the Luo Alliance look bad, the sword had lost its value with all his goals checked out. Accepting it meant a stain on the Luo Alliance's name. Not taking it was playing into his hand, having robbed the limelight while also keeping his precious. The Luo Alliance was going to lose some, without a doubt. Luo Yunhai's face twitched, sighing as he spoke. Society head, I appreciate your generosity, but it's too precious of a gift to accept. It is, then I'll be sure to bring a cheaper one next time, ha ha ha. Qin Hao went for the kill, putting away the sword without a qualm while sending scornful looks at the people behind Luo Yunhai. Luo Yunhai glared at him hard. Qin Hao cupped his hands to the other guests and laughed. I have one more great news to bring on Alliance Leader's auspicious day. On the 10th of May next year, I shall hold my 260th birthday. Everyone is invited. You'd give me much honor with your presence there. And Alliance Leader Luo, I know you did not give me an invite to yours, but I am most willing to give one to you. Please accept it once Qin Society presents it with utmost respect. I'm getting excited just thinking what your gift might be, especially how much bigger the Luo Alliance is compared to Qin Society, ha ha ha. Let's go. Qin Hao strutted out of the hall like a winner. He finally won up the Luo Alliance and crushed their name. Luo Yunhai's group had dark looks, fists clenched, jaws set. The guests blinked between the sides. No one likes being dissed by an underdog. Whoosh, 3 youths blocked Qin Hao, shouting, Hold up, old man. Who dares to block the path of the Qin Society head? The rugged man's first reaction was to shout and attack, but Qin Hao raised his hand to hold him back. He looked closer and sneered, Look who it is, if it isn't the Luo Alliance's young miss and the 2 noble sons. What can I do for you? Luo Sifan, Long Jianshan, and Zai Nianyang had been rushing for 3 months to make it to the Alliance leader's celebration on time. But seeing this old guy crashing the party, they were furious. Luo Sifan beamed, Uncle Qin, did you come to congratulate father? Why are you leaving with your gift then? Is it normal to bring it then take it away? Ha ha ha, dear child, it's your dad who thought little of it, so I can only take it back. I wish not to darken the Luo Alliance leader's day, so I chose to leave sooner, ha ha ha. Really, Dad didn't like it. Can I take a look? Go right ahead, child, but I'm sure it's nothing to fuss over. Since you're the Luo Alliance young miss, you must have seen many greater things than this. It won't look nice being so overwhelmed over something so little, ha ha ha. Qin Hao's eyes held nothing but contempt, then opened the box with utter glee once more, eager to see Luo Alliance young miss' dumb look of shock. Pyrocloud's glory was once more shed into the world, making everyone's heart race. The kids stared hard as well. Pa, the lid closed shut and the world dimmed just a little. Qin Hao snickered at Luo Sifan. Young Miss Luo, have you seen something like this? You call that great? No wonder Dad rejected that junk. Luo Sifan slanted her head and smirked. Your poker is so-so, but it's natural for Dad to shun it. But looking at you and how you're really getting on in your years, but yet to be met with such cordiality at your thoughtful gift, I'll take it instead. Just leave it and go. Sifan, Luo Yunhai snapped at her. He could not take the gift no matter what, or the world would think the worst of them. Luo Yuncheng and Yuer were giving her obvious looks to back off. The girl ignored him, staring into Qin Hao's eyes with a glimmer in hers. Qin Hao laughed and nodded. Oh my treasure is nothing to the Luo Alliance leader, but quite important to the young miss I see. I just can't tell who's the blind one here. Luo Alliance leader, do you really want the gift? Qin Hao turned to Luo Yunhai, taunting, but he got no response, only a dark look. Pa, Luo Sifan yanked the box and placed it on a table with glee. Enough yapping about and give it already. I told you I'll take your little bauble. Sifan, what do you think you're doing? Luo Yunhai roared, to which Qin Hao mocked. So Luo Alliance leader does care about little old me's gift. Then what was the point of that noble act just now? Ha ha ha. Luo Yunhai's mouth shook, about to spit blood. Qin Hao's laugh turned into a cackle. Old man, why would Dad care about some toothpick? I just can't bear to see you come all this way just to be shot down. That'll be so unfair to you. Luo Sifan snarked. We have more than enough junk like that around for the Luo Alliance to care. Even my gift ends up better than yours. Luo Sifan's hand shone and a blue sword dazzled the eyes with its azure aura. They all gasped, even the 9 sect leaders. That sword, 12th grade top, Yan Mo muttered. Wen Tao wiped his brow, his heart stirring, not just top but perfect. I've never seen a spiritual weapon having such an aura. It's one with the world. That's why the girl looked down on Pyrocloud. It's scrap by comparison. Everyone bobbed their heads. Qin Hao's winning look got crushed and his body shook all over in disbelief. How on earth? The Luo alliance actually has a divine weapon like the unique ones of every land. Luo Sifan bowed, her turn to look smug, moving to present the sword to Luo Yunhai. This is Everblue, 1.88 meters, 4.9 kg, symbolizing the auspicious number 9, the best of its kind. You represent benevolence, enact justice, steer the world, and lead the people. My friends and I looked long and hard before choosing the most fitting sword for Father. May you live forever and ever, Father. Happy birthday. Having it pointed out, the people woke up and noticed the perfect 12th grade spiritual weapon was a best fit for Luo Yunhai's style, unlike the raw pyrocloud of before. Now this is a thoughtful pick. Does that mean the Luo alliance has so many of them that they could spare time on these details? Are they filthy rich? Is there no bottom to their wealth? All eyes widened in shock, even Qin Hao, looking agape with his heart in pieces. Curses, now the Luo alliance is better than the double dragon manor. Why the hell are we still messing with them? Everblue's glorious aura shone in the amazed eyes of all guests. Luo Yunhai reached for it and then pointed at the box to open and let Pyrocloud's red glow shine out. It soon found that the blue sword shone brighter, overwhelming it and stealing the red aura for itself. Pyrocloud then shook and darkened. The people cried out, "How can this be?" Pyrocloud degraded to the 11th grade. Qin Hao's face shook hard, a vein snapping on his forehead as his heart raced like a dying horse. What the hell? Why would a 12th grade spiritual sword up and get degraded? Is Everblue capable of taking the power of other spiritual swords? That's insane. Everyone lit up as they gazed upon Everblue. Qin Hao's heart was bleeding. His prized sword just got bumped down to 11th grade. That's too fast a devaluation. Damn Luo Alliance, where the hell did they find such a ridiculous sword? I've never heard of such things. This was the product of Zhuo Fan's insights into vaulting swords art mixed with the demon transformation art. It not only had a mild aura, but all spiritual swords around it would be worn out from having their spiritual energy sucked out. Zhuo Fan had many sovereign legacies, with swordsmanship being among his latest. His products were bound to be glorious as well, but all people could see was the perfect 12th grade spiritual sword, so strong and so baffling. Luo Yunhai felt familiarity with it in his grip, laughing, "Great sword." The kids perked up, excited as well that their efforts were all worth it. Qin Hao sighed, about to slip away. He came to make a scene and only made a fool of himself instead. His precious gift even got degraded on top, the knife that cut the deepest. He gambled and lost everything. "Wait," Luo Yunhai called out, "Society head, since you offered me a gift, I shall accept it." Qin Hao sighed, shaking his head and showing maudlin self-pity. "Alliance leader Luo, there's no need for jokes. With your deep resources, I cannot compare my paltry trinket with your divine sword. Your daughter is most correct. My sword is nothing to Alliance leader, especially now, degraded as it is. I shall take my leave and disturb you no further." Qin Hao slumped as he slinked away. "Not so fast." Luo Yunhai smiled. "Society head is too kind, please stay. It's my fault for being so busy to forget about your invitation. With society head disregarding our differences in coming to offer me a gift, I was thoughtless in receiving you. Please forgive me." Luo Yunhai bowed in sincerity. Looking from him to the dazzling blue sword, Qin Hao's face twitched and sighed. Alliance leader Luo is so compassionate, with such a sort the perfect fit of a true hero. I now know why the Luo Alliance earned the respect of everyone in Western lands. It is I who offended you first. Please forgive me. Qin Hao bowed, returning the gesture. Luo Sifan was stunned. Auntie, aren't they here to make a scene? Why is Dad? Give respect and you shall receive our undying gratitude. Take a finger and we'll take a hand. The Luo clan faces trouble but is not cruel either. This is the righteous and benevolent conduct of the Luo clan. Luo Yuncheng patted her head. Zhu Chengfeng approached. "Young miss, the best way to destroy an enemy is by making friends with him. Clan head is most suited for this, different from Steward Zhu's style, though he used gains as lures to move others. We may have defeated Qin Hao after coming to crash the party, but we cannot kick someone when they're down and leave his dignity. Going out of line will turn him into our enemy. Clan head did so to bring him on our side, but that's his choice, though he doesn't look the fool and maybe clan head's intention would get to him. This will only work to further grow our Luo alliance." Luo Sifan nodded but then asked, "Who's Steward Zhuo? Why haven't we heard about him? He is dearly missed and grieved." Luo Yuncheng sighed, sorrow taking over her. "Maybe few are those that can still remember him, but some elders always hold him in respect, admiration, fear, and a bit of pity when talking about him." "Pity? How can they not pity a glorious hero dying before his time?" Luo Yuncheng wiped her tears, shaking her head. "I told you mentioning him will make us sad." Zhu Chengfeng nodded. "We don't mention Steward Zhu because it would bring the ladies sorrow, only discussing it privately." Young Miss can't understand. Making Auntie sad, then is he Auntie's lover? Luo Sifan asked. Luo Yunqing gave an ever-bitter smile. I see him as such, but his heart might hold another. That devil, I don't even know where his body is, yet I've yet to find if he held me dear. Luo Yunqing was forlorn. Luo Sifan's eyes shone. She had no clue who the steward Zhu was to make her aunt, a famous iron lady, so sad even after his passing. Just what was he? Was there such a man alive in this world? Luo Sifan turned to Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang, her gophers, and shook her head. Nah, I sure haven't found any, haha. Luo Yunhai invited Qin Hao in for a drink. Qin Hao came to crash the party, and Luo Yunhai didn't like it, of course, but now that he had been pulled in, all the grudge faded into cordiality. The wine poured non-stop, the mood turning lively again. But eyes kept drifting on the blue blade. Qin Hao was no exception, cupping his hands. Alliance leader Luo, where did you get such a divine sword? Luo Yunhai was dubious as well. Sifan, where did you find this precious spiritual sword? All sound ceased, with eyes peeling and ears focused on their location. Father, we've gone through much to get this gift for you. The trio chuckled pridefully. We have gone through so much toil to meet with a master swordsmith in Swordfall. Swordfall? Qin Hao cried. You can't mean this sword came from the blind swordsmith, can you? Luo Sifan lit up and nodded. You know him. Yes, we've been looking to meet him for so long before he finally gave us a sword, even picked one best for father's gift. I was wondering how you chose something that matched my nature to perfection. So you would help, ha ha ha. Luo Yunhai nodded. Society head Qin, is there something wrong about this swordsmith? Qin Hao frowned hard. Juniors, you must have had heaven's favor to get that eccentric to give you a spiritual sword. Word first reached me about this strange man 20 years ago. I've also sent people to get a sword, but none succeeded. In anger, I tried forcing him, only to lose all that tried, Genesis stage experts no less. When the casualties reached 100, I realized this was hopeless. The blind swordsmith is not normal by any means. Later on, I heard someone even sent 400 Genesis stage experts for him, yet none returned. I'm just glad I didn't go myself into the devil's den. From then on, no one tried anything. Even if there were divine swords there, none would try ever again. One thing was certain, though, that no sword ever left his hands. I just can't believe your daughter managed to pull it off. Heaven must have favored you greatly. The sword is just like the rumors say, exquisite. Everyone gasped in shock, even the kids. Talk about having the devil's luck. 3 brats did what hundreds of Genesis stage experts couldn't. The kids were just as clueless as before. Was it supposed to be that hard? The blind uncle was quite nice, though. How can he be cruel when he bickered with juniors? But then recalling Kaior scaring away bald demon with 2 words, the trio tensed. Did we just go to hell and back? Father, I would like to know if the Luo Alliance ever had a blind member. Alliance leader, we have a grave situation. Luo Yunhai thought of something and asked, but the sudden panicked shout drew everyone's attention to outside the hall. A scout in black rushed in and kneeled. We have news from the central area that Dragon-Cleaving Sword King is on his way to kill Alliance leader. You must get to safety and survive. What? Everyone at the celebration panicked, the hall drowned in frantic voices. Dragon-Cleaving Sword King, the once best in Western lands, was coming after Luo Yunhai's head. This is a disaster. There's nothing in Western lands that can stop him. The Luo Alliance was in huge trouble. Many guests had dark looks, waiting for their response. Zhu Chengfeng rushed to the scout, snapping at him. How solid is the info? He is a sword king, not someone to stoop down to dirty assassinations. Did the Empire send him? Are they only after the Luo Alliance? Steward Zhuge, the report says the central area has no hand in it, that Danking Shen is doing it on his own. What did we ever do to him? Clan head stewards, not to him but someone else. For he brought lads of our nation to him and asked for clan head's death. It is spread everywhere by now. Everyone calls it hate begets hate, a part of the cultivation world. Now they're waiting for the drama to unfold between the Luo Alliance and Danking Shen. Zhu Chengfeng's face shook hard at the impossible problem. This is grave, since this was treated as a cultivator's grudge, and only after one person, no expert of the 4 lands, will lend a hand. Especially since the central area isn't marching on us. Luo Yunhai's death would mean nothing to the 4 lands, the impact limited to the Luo Alliance, not a loss of strength, but a restructuring of power. While the 4 states keep their strength, the Luo alliances will crumble under the redistribution of power. Double Dragon Manor's dear wish, no doubt. Asking them to help now, Zhu Chengfeng shook his head and sighed. Ling Wucheng knew the situation was dire, his mind working hard for a solution. He found none. Brother Yunhai, we 9 sect leaders will plead your case before Double Dragon Manor. Only the exalted can stop their former disciple now. When Tao spoke, the others weren't against it, but Qin Hao had little hope this would work. As an old adversary of the Luo Alliance for years and years, he knew best of Double Dragon Manor's stance. In this trying time where a supreme expert was joining in, they all supported Luo Alliance in getting Double Dragon Manor to help, but whether the help would come remained to be seen. The Exalted can at best match Danking Shen, even if they do agree. This is an assassination. Danking Shen can sidestep them with ease. Qin Hao, having Luo Yunhai nursing his ego all this time, decided to give subtle advice. Don't go, as they won't help since they're too eager to see you die. The others fell silent, with Wu Qinkyu making another proposal. I was once somewhat close to the Shangyuan clan. Maybe I could send them a request to help. Somewhat. Brother Wu, you've been making constant trips to eastern lands even now, ha ha ha. Wen Tao snickered at his expense. Wu Qinkyu smiled as he looked at Luo Yunhai. Well, thank you, sect leader Wu, but going to Double Dragon Manor is still better since this involves western lands. It would be best not to go over them. Zhu Chengfeng nodded, looking grave. Clan head, sect leader's request will also take days, and that means delaying the old man is a must. I propose we double the guard and raise the alert of the border patrols while also sending people to intercept in between to buy enough time. A tall man popped before them, his sideburns swaying in the breeze. He cupped his hands. Clan head, I volunteer to go and meet Dragon-Cleaving Sword King. Elder Li, clan head, we also volunteer. Q Yanhai Zhu Qingjian, along with Earth and Heaven elders, cupped their hands as well. Luo Yunhai hesitated. You are Luo clan's guardian venerables without equal in the Luo alliance. But Dragon-Cleaving Sword King is just as monstrous. Going means, as fellow Peak Genesis experts, we would like to see what sets a Sword King apart from us, ha ha ha. Li Jingshan made a fierce salute, his eyes eager for battle. Clan head, allow us to go against true experts. Death matters little to us. Please allow us, clan head, the other Fao bowed. Luo Yunhai sighed and nodded. Everyone else watched the five with respect. The loyalty and courage Luo clan's venerables have is awe-inspiring, rushing by their own initiative against such an enemy. Before you go, take Everblue with you to help, and Pyrocloud. While not up to Alliance leader's Everblue, it will help. Luo Yunhai offered his new spiritual sword, and Qin Hao presented the degraded Pyrocloud. This was respect among heroes. There was a stifling mode prevalent in the hall. The five took them and cupped their hands before leaving. All felt this might be the last time they would see them. As the wind howls and rain batters, our brave depart never to return. Qin Hao cupped his hand in complete respect. Alliance leader Luo, you have nothing but admiration at the strength your alliance garnered, having such loyal warriors as well. Luo Yunhai shook his head with sorrow. It was Steward Zhu who brought them. Watching them go to their doom makes me a failure as a clan head, disgracing his spirit. Steward Zhu again. Luo Sifan was getting more and more curious. Who on earth is he? Why is he mentioned with nothing but reverence like a saint? Her feelings were ignored in this dire time when survival was doubtful. People rushed about, laying defenses, forming patrols, anything to stop Danking Shen. The celebration came to a halt as the guest knew this was the last drink. Long Jianshan, Zai Nianyang, we never did see the five elders fight as one. It must be amazing. Let's go watch. While all were busy, she sneaked to her gophers to get them on board. Long Jianshan hesitated. The strongest venerables have never moved before. The enemy must be dangerous. Won't we get hurt by going? Scared? I'm not scared. How are we going to catch up anyway? Simple. With Grandpa Li's dotting so much, I slipped 1,000 leagues scent on him in case the old man would try to avoid playing with me. We'll find them for sure with the lovesick larva. Sifan, you trickster. Long Jianshan's face twitched and sighed. I got nothing left to argue. Stop with the prattle. You're in or out? In, the brat sneaked out. Where did those kids go this time? Yue looked around and frowned. A month later, at the western lands border, a thin old man stood in the desert, facing 5 men. Danking Shen was out on a stroll, living a little, while also taking Luo Yunhai in passing. I haven't been home in years, yet I just passed the border and you're here to meet me. How may I help you? Are you Dragon-Cleaving Sword King Danking Shen? Precisely. We're the Luo clan's 5 venerables. That explains it. Danking Shen nodded, smiling. You came to die for your lord. I do appreciate your devotion. Ding. Li Jingshan held out an azure sword while Q Yanhai wielded Pyrocloud, pointing it at him. We came on behalf of the clan head, but also to see the legend of the best in western lands for ourselves. As Peak Genesis experts, why are you so much stronger? I see martial fanatics just like me, ha ha ha. Danking Shen chuckled freely. Then he stiffened, setting his piercing gaze upon the azure sword. Where did you get that? Pick up the pace, you two. I don't want to get there when the fighting is over. A girl ran ahead of 2 guys, dashing through the woods and holding a wiggling worm, adjusting course based on its direction. Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang shared a worried look for the willful and obstinate young miss. Sister Sifan, let's just stop. We'll only burden the venerables in a Genesis stage expert showdown. Say if you don't want to go, don't make excuses, you chicken. Luo Sifan huffed, speeding up. I'll just go by myself then. I've yet to see a sword king fight. Are they as amazing as they say that not even the five of them together can handle? The gophers hung their heads in defeat at their headstrong boss lady. We're here, Luo Sifin glanced at the worm raising its head and lit up. She crossed a bush and a sea of yellow entered her view, with the sun's dazzling rays shining on her delicate features, her enchanting eyes. She froze on the spot. Her excitement for the fight had now drained from her face, her blood running cold. Whoosh, the gophers arrived as well. Sister Sifin, wait for us, the duo stiffened at the shocking scene. How is this possible? As the sand blew, they witnessed blood soaking everywhere. 5 familiar figures were laying in it, unmoving. Before them was an old man in blue, holding an azure sword and tracing its blade with a frown. Strange, how can there be the vaulting sword art? Why does this sword contain vaulting swords mysteries? The exalted aren't good at refining either, while their swordsmanship isn't impressive either. Does this mean that the Western Lands has another vaulting sword inheritor? But why the Luo clan? I've never heard of anyone from Luo clan getting into double dragon manner. Grandpa Li, Luo Sifin cried out in tears, rushing to him before the other two could stop her. Sifin. The old man paused and observed the distressed girl looking after Li Jingshan. You're from Luo clan. Why your dragon-cleaving sword king, Danking Shen? Luo Sifin's eyes quivered but steeled herself to meet his gaze. Danking Shen nodded. I am. The kids shivered, their hearts tensing. Did you do this to them? Luo Sifin was most definitely scared but fought through it to ask. Danking Shen offered a snicker. Yes, this is my handiwork. Missy, you're quite brave, knowing I hurt them yet rushing over still. Aren't you scared I'll take your lives? The trio flinched and shook like leaves. Luo Sifin tightened her fists. My clan has no cowards. Grandpa Li and the others are our venerables. I am not about to turn a blind eye to them. My, what spunk, Danking Shen nodded. I can see the valor in Luo clan like they say. Even the kids are steadfast. I'd hate to go against you just on this alone, but I made a vow. Girl, you recognize this sword? Luo Sifin glanced at Everblue and nodded. Great, let's talk. I've come to Western Lands for only one man, and I'll kill any that stand in my way. But seeing your venerables so steadfast and righteous garnered my sympathy, and I left them breathing. Now tell me where you got this sword, and I'll leave you be as well. Luo Sifin was silent. Why is he so interested in it? Are sword kings after 12th grade spiritual weapons as well, or is it maybe the blind uncle? I can't tell on him or he'll get hurt. Danking Shen snickered. Don't feel like talking. Then none of you are leaving here alive, including your elders. Danking Shen flexed his aura to mount the pressure. The kids were rooted on the spot, their breaths stolen and their faces red. Luo Sifin gnashed her teeth. Ha ha ha, just like Luo clan, tight-lipped. Danking Shen's eyes shone, ramping up the pressure. I asked the old guys as well, but they just attacked and look how they end up. But why are you kids doing the same? They could at least fight while you are all powerless before me. Do you really want to die like this? Luo clan never turns its back on anyone. Luo Sifin squeezed through the pain and discomfort. Danking Shen was touched. He was about to go easy on them when a shout came. It's the blind swordsmith. He gave it to us. Whoosh, Danking Shen snapped his eyes on Long Giantshan. Who is that? He lives 3 miles out of Swordfall. The villagers know about him. Long Giantshan recoiled under the piercing stare. Danking Shen nodded and chuckled. Girl, you're not bad, while he ha ha ha. Danking Shen vanished. Luo Sifin glared at him. Long Giantshan, how can you sell out the blind uncle? What if he wanted to harm uncle? But we were about to get killed. What was I supposed to do? Long Giantshan looked crushed, muttering, I was doing it for us. It's he who will die instead of us 5, 6, 7, 8. All the more reason we can't betray his goodwill after giving the sword. Are we that ungrateful that we sent trouble his way? Haven't you ever heard of death before dishonor? Luo Sifin glared as she lashed at him. Who is to say 8 lives outweigh 1 life? Rumble, a loud rumble approached as a 3rd-level spiritual beast-drawn carriage arrived, carrying a languid voice. Are you from the Luo clan? Get in, I want to save the blind swordsmith. Why, I've met your alliance leader once and told me who deserves to die and who doesn't. Regardless of what Danking Shen has against the Luo clan, the blind swordsmith is innocent. I will try to mediate. The soft voice spoke again. Have the wounded placed in a safe spot. I'll save them. Luo Sifin nodded in joy and signaled Zai Nianyang for help with the elders. Long Giantshan hesitated, shaken up hard from the encounter with the dragon-cleaving sword king. But scarier by far was Luo Sifin's fury, and so Long Giantshan lent a hand as well. After taking care of them, the 3 got in and were shocked to witness such beauty. Rumble, the carriage rushed through and arrived before the cabin with the sign Sword Shack written on it. Its door was blown out and Danking Shen sat before it. His eyes shone at the dangling spiritual swords. Hearing the carriage stop, he looked behind to see a fair lady cupping her hands, dragon-cleaving sword king greeting. Murong clan's young miss, Danking Shen chuckled. I don't recall having met with brother Murong. It ought to be Wine Sword Immortal the closest with you. Miss Murong, why would you look for me? The kids got out as well and shrank in fear, while also amazed at Murong Zhu. The lady must be important for even Danking Shen to show respect. They had yet to grasp how vast the world was, that their Luo alliance had only been around for just shy over a century. As for the Murong clan, it held power in the 5 lands for millennia, making even the central area think twice. This was the deterrence a Sword King-level expert brought, unlike all those countless factions. Taking in the Sword Shack's condition and the lack of battle signs, Murong Zhu relaxed and asked, "What of the blind swordsmith? Sword King couldn't have erased him already, right? I was met with a 9th grade array just as I arrived and only broke it." Danking Shen smiled. Inside their array only swords. But every last one of them contains deep insights in the sword path. I didn't know such a person lived. He may very well be the best refiner, ha ha ha. Luo Sifan eased a breath. Thank heavens blind uncle isn't here. Murong Zhu wasn't one to be settled with just that. Dragon-cleaving sword king, why might you be looking for the blind swordsmith? What are your intentions? To ask some questions. That's it, though if the answers are to disappoint, I'll be taking his life instead. Danking Shen squinted, his face cold. Murong Zhu's heart sank. She let out a breath, knowing she could not stop a sword king, despite being a peak Genesis expert herself. Luo Sifan was startled as well, praying, "Don't come, blind uncle, someone wants to kill you, a top expert in the world. You have to stay away, I couldn't forgive myself if you died," which obviously went unanswered. My, what a crowd we have today. It's been ages since I got so many guests at my shack. Flinching, all snapped in the voice's direction and saw a youth in white and covered eyes, his smile sinister, and a few old signatures among you as well. "Welcome, old friends, ha ha ha," Luo Sifan gasped. "Run, uncle, he wants to kill you. Kill me too, aren't we all old pals? I never irked anyone here." Zhuo Fan had no qualms at all. Old pals, Luo Sifan looked at Danking Shen and Murong Zhu, their faces so shocked they'd seen a ghost. Danking Shen pointed at Zhuo Fan, stammering, "Why you're not dead? Of course not, or were you expecting a ghost in broad daylight? It never crossed my mind that you're the blind swordsmith." Murong Zhu's eyes shook, taking a deep breath and turning to Luo Sifan. "Don't worry, this blind uncle is none other than the greatest devil that has walked the earth. Him getting hurt, it'll be a miracle if he doesn't cause genocide instead. Yes, who could ever kill me? Ha ha ha, girl, know how to make tea, put a kettle on. Me and my old friends are having a chat." Zhuo Fan waved without a care. An hour later, Murong Zhu gave the 5 wounded pills before laying them in the shack. Zhuo Fan entertained the guests in a small gazebo outside. The hostility was now gone, replaced with utter calm. The kids were staring oblivious to the inner workings, slowly making their way inside the shack. Long Jianshan pulled her to the side and looked outside. "Sister Sifan, who is that blind guy? Why is dragon-cleaving sword king suddenly listening to his words and sitting down to enjoy old times? Who the hell is he to stand equal to a sword king? How should I know?" Luo Sifan was equally baffled by what was happening. In any case, the blind uncle must be something else. How else can you explain these big names acting all friendly around him? Zhuo Fan felt 3 pairs of intrigued eyes on his back and smiled. "After a century, I still get to see some old friends. Miss Murong's still a busybody like usual. I'm working for the greater good and helping the needy. Not like you know anything about that now, would you?" Murong Zhu rolled her eyes and huffed. "Yet all these years that went by still can't make me forget the war, your actions, whether good or bad, whether right or wrong. That's why I have been traveling to see the world and find a definite answer. It has eluded me even now." Zhuo Fan smirked. "I've experienced life's trials as well, with something to show for, unlike you. If willing, come with me to see the culmination of evil and righteous in humanity. Maybe it will bring you peace." Murong Zhu nodded in the end, no longer as antagonistic. "Zhuo Fan, did you make this?" Danking Shen placed Everblue on the table, staring hard at his face. Zhuo Fan nodded. "How? Why can I feel the vaulting sword art from it? When did you learn it? Over the last century." Zhuo Fan eased a breath. "Old Dan, I've been keeping something from you for a long time. That fight in Double Dragon Manor." Zhuo Fan revealed vaulting sword situation in detail. "Sorry for fooling all of you. Vaulting sword was with me while the exalted and you thought it was with the other. This burden had been held for 100 years. "What?" Danking Shen shook, unable to comprehend how a brat pulled the wool over him, the best in Western lands, and yet he was still the fall guy. "Outrageous." Murong Zhu gave him a long look and smiled. "You're really something, toying with Western land's best when you were nothing. I don't think there was anyone in the world would be more insane as you. True, that was one huge gamble that had me nervous to the core." "Nervous. Yet you still took it. Where is it now?" "I won't return it." Danking Shen held out his hand, but Zhuo Fan shook his head. "It's been with me for so many years, I see no reason to give it away. I'm only explaining to you and giving you understanding while giving me peace. I mean, you did save me once and it wouldn't do to keep this from you. I've saved you years ago and you're only telling me now. I was scared you'd kill me. What about now? No, Zhuo Fan was frank like never before in his life. Danking Shen's beard shook wildly in anger. Curses, he grew up and now I can't do anything. The instant Danking Shen sensed the vaulting sword in Everblue, he knew. The swordsmith had the same understanding as him, and after seeing it to be Zhuo Fan, all became clear. Zhuo Fan was a freak of nature to begin with. Taking a century had to have made him an abomination. He believed he'd suffer for fighting if it came to that. After grumbling for a while, Danking Shen hit the table and rose to leave. Zhuo Fan stopped him. Wait, old Dan, we haven't finished talking about old times after so many years. Where are you going? Screw your reminiscing. I have nothing to say to you. I need to kill someone. A bloodlust like no other has taken over me. You had me fuming mad. Zhuo Fan didn't let him go still. Old Dan, you can kill anyone but Alliance leader Luo. Do a favor for the little old me and let him go. All right. Favor, my word is my bond. Someone brought me the painting and asked for his head. How can I refuse? Old Dan, don't you find it the least bit strange? The whole world knows about it. You're being played. So what? I don't care, Danking Shen snapped. I have my principles. Even if we haven't fallen out, we're men of our word. You have your values and I have mine. My oath has to be fulfilled to the best of my ability. Zhuo Fan nodded in understanding. Your best. Then if it exceeds it, what are you on about? Getting killed on your way to Luo Yunhai should be called excessive, right? Danking Shen's face twitched. And who would? Me, Zhuo Fan spoke. Danking Shen clenched his fists, squinting. Why would you? Because I am the first steward of the Luo clan, Zhuo Fan. Boom, a flood of bloodthirst rushed out of Zhuo Fan, filling the earth and the heavens with a crippling coldness. An eerie wind blew through the world, sending fear into the hearts of every living being. Murongzu even flinched back at her level. As for the kids, they paled instantly, shaking all over from terror. The blind uncle who looked to be in the profound heaven stage was actually on Danking Shen's level. Is he another Sword King level expert? But no matter how hard they racked their brains about it, no such blind expert came to mind. The newest addition was that lone arm Sword King. Luo Siphon gasped at Zhuo Fan's cruel figure. Blind uncle is full of surprises. Danking Shen knew Zhuo Fan was at his level and couldn't be pushed around. He felt tense against such equal opponent, though it was far from making him fear it. You did in just 100 years what it took me 1,000. Zhuo Fan, you're one of a kind genius. You may be at my level, but we'll only end our fight in a draw. I know that most of your power is within those eyes. I may not understand why, but it's obvious you can't use them now. You have no chance of stopping me as you are. Danking Shen jumped and pointed 2 fingers at the sky. Following a deep rumble, the heavens caved and roars echoed out, with dragons converging on his fingertips. A power like no other fell from the sky, the destructive force covering the entire area. Murongzu was sweating. The kids were panicking. Is this a Sword King? We've never felt this before, not even from tens of Genesis experts joining hands. All Sword Kings are out of this world. But can blind uncle stop it? The trio turned to Zhuo Fan with hope, only to see him calm as always. They thought the worst. Even he is scared stiff in front of Danking Shen's power. Whoosh, Zhuo Fan was gone the next moment, popping just a meter from Danking Shen. Why is he so fast? The calm Danking Shen turned frantic. His attack, gathering in his fingers, was sent slashing at Zhuo Fan with a flick of his wrist. Zhuo Fan couldn't dodge at this distance, taking the brunt of the attack. Any other Sword King would never take something like this head-on, since it would cripple them. And yet, whoosh, Zhuo Fan's right hand shone scarlet and grabbed. Bam! With the roars of thousands of dragons, the attack carried the might of heavens and dragons as they went for Zhuo Fan. But Zhuo Fan merely caught it with his killing arm. The rumbling grew in intensity, the clash sending blinding lights everywhere along with violent shockwaves. They crumbled the earth, shook the skies, and crushed mountains. The onlookers were overwhelmed. Is this a clash between Sword Kings? This is insane. What's with all this shaking? Is the world coming to an end? Danking Shen was just as incredulous. How can you take on my sword with one arm? A golden fire exploded from the arm, cutting off his words. The flames covered the sword wave, eliciting wails of dragons while the killing arm squeezed. The powerful sword wave was devoured with a boom by the golden flames, while the massive dragon power in the world around them faded out. The decimating sword art, Danking Shen cried out. Then a scarlet glow flicked across the air and a heavy power hacked at him. Zhuo Fan merely chopped, yet the scarlet wave felt like death to Danking Shen. Boom, the attack shot into the sky, erasing everything for 1,000 miles in its path. The mountain scenery surrounding Swordfall turned into a desert in an instant. The kids watched agape as the dust roiled in the sky. The landscape changed all around them, the shock almost stopping their hearts. Murongzu was unable to believe such power existed and gulped. The cunning devil from 100 years ago became a demon archon. Who could stand up to him? Danking Shen's white hair fluttered in the winds. Zhuo Fan took back his hand from the side of his face and said, "Old Dan, I may not have my eyes, but my skill remains. Now can you turn back, soaring sword art?" Danking Shen stared back with empty eyes. His smile turning bitter, "Yes, I can. I have no way of killing Luo Yunhai. There's no chance for me when I'm stopped by someone who learned 3 divine sword arts to perfection. None whatsoever." Danking Shen looked devastated and forlorn, leaving with hunched shoulders. "Zhuo Fan, you deserve to have vaulting sword." And he left back to central area. Zhuo Fan was just too strong for him to defeat. The first strike stopped him, but the next would end him. The brat became the second invincible sword, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan landed as he watched Danking Shen go. Murongzu no longer looked calm, shaking like a leaf. "The 4 missing divine swords ended up with you 100 years ago. Yes and no, you'll know in time." Zhuo Fan walked back to the shack. The kids were silent from fear, even shivering. Zhuo Fan patted the girl's head. "It's fine now. Go back to your dad." Danking Shen was beaten back, so tell him to relax. Right," Luo Sifan nodded. Zhuo Fan smiled and patted her some more before going to Li Jingshan's side. He inspected their wounds and nodded. "Miss Murong isn't stingy with her medicine, using 10th grade pills. In a week, they should wake up and recover in a month. I'm never stingy with my patients." But it's also because Danking Shen didn't go hard on them and crush their spirit, or it wouldn't be as easy. "Old Dan is an upright man, but in our world, sometimes you're forced to do things against your principles, ha ha ha." Zhuo Fan laughed. Maybe he'd wanted this defeat. Really. "I didn't notice him throwing the fight. You can't keep yourself from following your heart's desire. This is old Dan's way." Zhuo Fan smiled. Murongzu mulled it over. Luo Sifan plucked up her courage to say, "Blind uncle, do you and the Luo alliance have history?" "Ha ha, there may be some there." Zhuo Fan smirked, then a jade slip shot into his hand. After a careful read, his face was hard. "Girl, speak to no one about today. Act like you never saw me. When the geezers wake up, take them and leave, understand?" Everyone flinched. "What's going on? Why the sudden change?" Sifan grew annoyed. "Blind uncle, you're being mean to us. How are we going to explain to them when they wake up? That dragon-cleaving sword king up and left, we have no excuse." "Isn't simple?" Zhuo Fan cocked an eyebrow. "Just say you pleaded with all your being and he was touched by your upright character, so he left. Then add a little flair to the story, make it harrowing and desperate. That ought to sell nicely." "That's it." The trio's faces twitched. "It's too damn obvious for anyone to believe," Zhuo Fan said. "We're the only ones who know about what happened. If you don't talk and I stay silent, none will be the wiser. You can spin it however to others, but what grounds do they have to doubt you? Besides, Danking Shen has long since left." "But no buts, you're not to say the truth or else." Zhuo Fan turned cold, adding a bit of bloodthirst in his gaze. "Danking Shen can't go to the Luo alliance, but I can." "Take it as you will." The kids shook in recollection of Zhuo Fan's godlike might and bobbed their heads. Zhuo Fan grinned. "Great, I'm letting you take the credit here and not silencing you. And haven't I told you last time not to speak about me? How come you brought Danking Shen to my door?" The trio froze, with 2 of them looking at Long Jianshan's horrified face. "Oh, the chubby guy again." Zhuo Fan pulled on that tearing face, snickering. "Selling me out, have you? You were also complaining last time, snubbing me. Let's settle everything here and now, he he he." Long Jianshan slumped to the ground in a trembling mess. "Senior, I'm sorry. I didn't know you're so great. I am nothing to you. Please have the generosity to spare me. I'll never speak of you ever again." "Blind uncle, please let him go," Luo Sifan pleaded, afraid Zhuo Fan was going to pinch his brains out. Who could say with these geezers' tempers? Zhuo Fan smiled. "Your old man must have spoiled you rotten, judging by that horrified look. Conceited all the time, yet a coward when it matters. Get up. Now's your time to make up for it and play the hero. Tell on me again and I'll go into your home and make mincemeat out of you. Got that?" "Yes, great senior, totally. I believe you can do anything." Long Jianshan sobbed and trembled. Zhuo Fan nodded, content with the other 2 kids lowering their heads. Zhuo Fan finally eased a breath and walked off. "Blind uncle you, girl, I'm leaving. Today was but an interlude to what is to come. Take care." Zhuo Fan turned to Murongzu. "Miss Murong, are you still interested in figuring some things out? I'll show you what is good and what is evil." Zhuo Fan left. Murongzu muttered before following after him. The kids were the only ones remaining, looking lost. Long Jianshan was still shaking, his face twitching. "Mommy, he's gone at last." In the double dragon manner, Wen Tao, Yan Mo, and other sect leaders had been at the heaven-reaching pavilion for a long time, pacing about while waiting for a reply. A grizzled man came out and bowed. "Sect leaders, what might have brought you here?" "Elder, we would like to ask the Exalted whether—" "I'm terribly sorry, but the Exalted have been gone for a while now. We don't know where they went." The old man cut off Wen Tao, his expression heavy. Yan Mo asked, "When will the Exalted be back?" "We're unsure. They've always been unpredictable. You've all been cultivating in double dragon manner and should know this better than anyone." "We do. Sorry to disturb you." When Tao shook his head and sighed, they all bowed and left. Once gone, one black and one white old man came out. Exalted High Ran shook his head. They're all part of Western lands, yet we're still ignoring them in this. We'd be holding our duty if it were anyone else. But Luo Yunhai's ambition has no limit. He's been growing over these years so much that it's clear he aims for the top, going against us. His people's skills are truly formidable. All these people just now were once our disciples, yet they've taken the Luo clan's side. He must have learned Zhuo Fan's core values. Even when Zhuo Fan faked death, they still recommended the Luo clan. Exalted High Ran nodded. I know. I just got word the Qin society that's been at odds with the Luo alliance all this time got pulled into the birthday celebration. Luo Yunhai's compassion has no limit. With such a high achiever in Western lands, it brings unrest. A vicarious settlement is best. Exalted Bai Mei left while Exalted High Ran sighed behind him. At the entrance to the Shangyuan clan in eastern lands, Shangyuan Qingyan walked Wu Qinkyu out. I'm sorry, senior brother Wu, our venerables are set on this. It's fine, the seniors must have their own thoughts about it. Goodbye, Wu Qinkyu bowed. Shangyuan Qingyan returned the gesture, feeling helpless. Shangyuan Qingyan went back in and bowed before the elders. Venerables, senior brother Wu was here and I couldn't be blunt, but now I have to know. The Luo clan is a benevolent group in Western lands, working well with ours. Why wouldn't we help them in this time of need and bring us closer together? Yanner, all these years you've handled the clan, you've never done anything of import, only trivialities and don't have perspective. Why do you think Double Dragon Manor doesn't interfere despite Danking Shen coming to Western lands to cause trouble? Why was it Wu Qinkyu who came asking for our help? Maybe Double Dragon Manor was in difficulty. What difficulty when it's just Danking Shen and not against the central area? Even if something grave was happening, it should be Double Dragon Manor who would ask of our help and not Ultimate Clarity Sect. That's, Shangyuan Qingyan hesitated. The Venerable sighed, his voice resolute. Yanner, humanity is twisted at heart. We're not suspicious of other, but should at least be cautious. Double Dragon Manor is the head of Western lands. By going over their heads and interfering, we're undermining their authority, damaging the relation between the lands. And when Wu Qinkyu arrived, signs have already shown this might be the case. The Western lands' waters run deep and it's best we don't get involved. Venerable Double Dragon Manor wants, Shangyuan Qingyan's face fell. A month later, the envoys gone to plead assistance had returned, looking bitter and disappointed. Yanmo cupped his hand in apology. Brother Luo, the exalted are away. Their minds maybe, they were clearly avoiding us. When Tao sighed, I'd never have known people could be like this if it weren't for this incident. For even the exalted to do this, Luo Yunhai and Zhuge Chengfeng foresaw this and nodded. Shangyuan clan's 3 venerables declined on grounds of stumbling in their cultivation, Wu Qinkyu reported. This reason was so casual it left others speechless. Stumble, they've been around millennia and 1,000 years at peak Genesis stage with no sign of advancing. What stumbling? Neither side was willing to help. Who then in the Luo alliance could put a stop to Danking Shen's power? All had deep frowns at such a serious problem, but this trouble ended up repelled without their knowledge. The man who did it was now watching them from the shadows with a warm smile. Dad, in a moment of great turmoil, Luo Sifen's group came in with the wounded elders. Luo Yunhai gasped, Sifen, where have you brats run off to the last few days? Your mother has been searching for you everywhere. Dad, we're not children, we've gone to do important stuff. Important, Luo Yunhai glanced behind them at Li Jingshan and others. He only got utter confusion from the elders and a shrug. Luo Yunhai turned to the kids, with Luo Sifen looking prideful. Dad, you don't have to worry about that Danking Shen guy anymore. We scared him off. He must be back in the central area by now. What? Everyone gasped, looking at the kids in disbelief. These wee kids made dragon-cleaving sword king leave. As if Luo Yunhai asked, still out of it, Elder Li, you went to stop Danking Shen. What on earth happened? Are you all right? Thank you, clan head, for your concern. Actually, Li Jingshan bowed, then their faces twitched. We're not sure. Not even you? Why, clan head, we've been unconscious from our heavy wounds. And when we woke up, we saw the kids had taken us to a bamboo shack. They say they've made Danking Shen fall back, and the only thing we could do was come back since there was no sign of him around. No checkpoint we passed had seen him either. Li Jingshan's story began shaky and ended in confusion. Did he leave or not? Luo Yunhai looked hard at Luo Sifen. How did you get him to leave? Luo Sifen giggled, putting on Zhuo Fan's style as she wove a touching tall tale. Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang joined in as well, ramping up the danger, the tragedy, and inadvertently the comedy. They were sure to include any trial imaginable to any human being, no short of going to hell and back. And that's how Dragon-Cleaving Sword King felt sorry for us pathetic 3 and left. Long Jianshan ended with a few sniffs, though the pride obvious in his eyes. Alliance leader, you can't imagine the danger Sister Siphon was in, but I stepped in. As if. I stepped in, shut it, it was me. No, me. Long Jianshan wanted to paint himself as saving the damsel, but Zai Nianyang wouldn't have it. The next thing you knew, Alliance leader Luo would think of him when giving his daughter's hand. The two agreed that anything else was fine except this. The innocent Luo Siphon looked dumbstruck. Why fight over who lied? They weren't fighting for just some breadcrumbs, but for their future father-in-law's favor. Luo Yunhai was clearly not buying it, snapping at them. All right already. Who told you brats that you can go into such danger? Guard, cane them 50 times without yuan qi protection and then ground them in their room for a month. Ah, don't give me that. I'll make sure you won't soon forget this. Luo Yunhai had the guard take them away at the dismay of the heroes. Didn't we do good? Why are we punished? Zhuo Fan laughed at their expense, patted Murongzu's shoulder and left. Wu Qingqiu and Luo Yunhai were in the dark as to what actually happened, but their nerves relaxed with Danking Shen giving up. Whoosh, Zhuo Fan took Murongzu through the forest outside the Luo alliance, laughing. The brats did it this time. They thought they could take credit. I'd have slapped them in Yunhai's stead. How could they go through such dangers when their parents are worried sick? Ha ha ha. You sure know your way around, having been the first steward of the Luo alliance. No one picked up on anything. Murongzu looked behind the barrier. Please, I set these up before leaving. Even if it is improved, it is done with my own work as the base. I don't need to know much about this place, ha ha ha. The good and evil you speak of. This, Zhuo Fan shrugged, Double Dragon Manor represents what's good and fair in Western lands, earning people's trust. Shangyun clan also preaches righteousness. Miss Murong must think that with the Luo clan holding the same values and asking them for help, they ought to jump at the occasion to do good. Why then the cold shoulder? Murongzu sank in thought. Zhuo Fan smirked. It didn't get them anything by helping. The Luo clan is large and Double Dragon Manor began to have different opinions about it. Since such a prime chance came to cull it, why waste it? Shangyun clan is an upright clan, but having not gotten Western Land's boss green light, what would be the point of saving the Luo clan? It was ill-advised getting on Double Dragon Manor's bad side as a result. So I ask you, Miss Murong, is this good or evil? Behind a greedy heart, demons lurk, Murongzu sighed. Zhuo Fan shook his head, hardly. Double Dragon Manor has its own issues. It has deep roots into Western lands tied to it. Once that changed, Western lands changed. Moreover, one's nature is forever unknown. What kind of boss out there would allow an underdog to rise above it? Even beasts would do everything to drive out intruders, most of all humans. Why, fear. Double Dragon Manor wants to do things for itself. Failing sometimes means losing one's life. Shangyun clan looked after itself just as well. By offending Double Dragon Manor, they lose a strong ally. What's so bad about getting your family strong before doing good? What point is good if it can't keep you in power? So are they good or evil? Murongzu was mystified. Zhuo Fan laughed. Keep watching. The 5 lands are going to clash again. I'll then show you what a real disaster and calamity is all about. Murongzu followed him still. In a gloomy hall, Yuan Yang hastily came forward to bow. Prime Minister, Dragon-Cleaving Sword King was thwarted. Someone stopped him, holding strength beyond his, from taking down Luo Yunhai. Oh, did those 2 geezers intervene? Bailey Jingwei smiled. Yuan Yang was grave. No. Who then? I don't know. The Sword King didn't say, only that he was powerless. I see. Dragon-Cleaving Sword King's word is his body. For him to say that, then it exceeded his ability. Bailey Jingwei nodded. No matter. What about the other land's reactions? Ignored, Yuan Yang replied. They all say they reap what they sow and none stepped in. Not even Double Dragon Manor. Ultimate Clarity Sex Wu Qingqiu even asked Shangyun clan's help for the Luo clan, only to be refused. Bailey Jingwei's smile grew. Good, there's at least some result. Sir Yuan ever thought of returning to Tianyu? What? Pass my order. Prince of Harvest, Bailey Yunaming, in his position as Central Area Ambassador, along with Deputy Minister of War Yuan Yang, are to go to Western lands and discuss the removal of Devil Palace with every land. The other 3 lands will have a renowned member from the Ministry of Rights, Ministry of Revenue, and Ministry of Works as ambassadors informing the leaders of the lands of this action. Prime Minister Yuan Yang was stunned. Bailey Jingwei waved him off, snickering. Sir Yuan, you have one other mission. Listen. Bailey Jingwei explained in the dark Yuan Yang's true purpose. Bailey Jingwei dismissed him and said coldly, understand. I'm letting you do this not to get Tianyu back, but to become lord over Western lands under the Sword Star Empire. Thank you so much, Prime Minister. I won't let you down. Yuan Yang cupped his hands and went away with glee. Jingwei's decree, the officials drafted the documents quickly, sending them to the 4 lands leaders through ambassadors. As the Sword Star Empire was focused on recovery the past century, it maintained stable relations with the other lands. The lands were very much wary of this large enemy, but the appearances were kept, with some seldom cooperation taking place. Bailey Jingwei sent the ambassadors as goodwill. The four lands were welcome to refuse, but that would raise tension with the empire and lead to further problems that they would rather do without. What was the harm of one small errand boy paying a visit anyway? As for Devil Palace, they were at peace with them now, but who knew what the future held? The day might come when all the lands had to unite and remove this organization. Taking precautions for that was only natural. After careful consideration, the four lands agreed to the empire's ambassador. Yuan Yang and Prince of Harvest, Bailey Yunaming, took their flashy honor guard to Western lands. Unlike the other lands' envoys, they had to make a stop by the Tianyu Empire before going to Double Dragon Manor. The empire's ambassador is passing by and wants us to receive him. 3 months later, in the imperial palace's study, the middle-aged emperor Yuan Kong lost his youthful chubbiness, thinning somewhat. He even had a mustache. He gasped as he stared at Luo Yunhai sitting across from him. Alliance leader Luo, are you sure? Tianyu isn't in the direct path between Western Lands border and Double Dragon Manor. Are you sure that's right? Luo Yunhai sighed. Of course I am, since it came directly from Double Dragon Manor, saying there's someone from Tianyu among the delegation making a glorious return and asking explicitly for the Luo Alliance to receive them. From Tianyu. Who? Yuan Kong paced about in thought, some glory when it's just some guy's detour. Humph, I am the emperor of Tianyu. Any that have been from Tianyu are my people. But to come back as Sword Star Empire's delegate, he's demanding my respect. That's humiliating. Luo Yunhai chuckled. Your Majesty, what humiliation? This is in constant flux. Weren't you respectful when meeting me before you even became emperor? Oh, I see. Yuan Kong chuckled. Speaking of, Alliance leader Luo, you were very kind back then. When Zhuo Fan seized everything, I thought I'd be reduced to a puppet my entire life. But after the Luo Alliance expanded, you returned ruling back to me. I'll always be grateful for that. Luo Yunhai said, Your Majesty, the Luo clan is also thankful for all your care back then. We both know it was an investment. Like Zhuo Fan said, having motives, but you lacked any with me, offering back the power to rule in sincerity. They just don't compare. Regardless, the kindness still remains. The Luo clan will never lord over their supporters. Yuan Kong chuckled. Alliance leader Luo, no, brother Yunhai, I shall return your respect manifold. Whoever comes back to strut, I'll be sure to shower him in glory so as not to nitpick with you. Nitpick, brother Luo, I may be the ruler of some small kingdom, but things happening in Western lands do reach my ear. I know Double Dragon Manor is watching you like a hawk, ready to use anything as an excuse, right? I have vied for the throne and know how to handle problems. Luo Yunhai's face twitched, then beamed. After 3 more days, the imperial capital was adorned with colorful decorations. Emperor Yuan Kong and Empress Long Kui stood at the entrance. It was the highest honor given by the Tianyu Empire to any guest, that of the emperor welcoming the delegation himself. Though soon found it to be given since it came from the Sword Star Empire. Next to them stood the Luo Alliance high officials, with Luo Yunhai in the lead. All stood there, waiting until noon, when the sun was at its highest, to reveal a rumbling carriage forward guarded by an escort of 100,000 men and pulled by dozens of spiritual beasts. That's Western Lands ambassador. Bailey Jingwei must have sniffed a weakness in Western lands and wants to take a bite. Zhuo Fan looked at the large army from the shadows of the walls. Snickering, Murongzhu said, How do you know Bailey Jingwei is after Western lands? If it feels off and looks off, then it must be something off. The other lands' ambassadors aren't as armed. Care to know why? Murongzhu nodded. Because all other ambassadors are second rates while only ours has a prince included. Something is bound to happen in Western lands. Zhuo Fan grinned. They say the prince is also ha ha ha. Just watch. Murongzhu watched curiously as the procession came to a stop at the gates. Luo Yunhai's group stepped forward and bowed. I am Alliance leader Luo Yunhai and welcome the Central Area's ambassador. I am the Emperor of Tianyu. Yuan Kong, welcome. Yuan Kong smiled while holding his empress' hand. There was no reply from the carriage, though. A sinister laughter cracked up. Ha ha ha, third brother, it's been ages. I almost forgot you were the emperor. Yuan Kong shook all over as he glared at the carriage, still in disbelief of what he was hearing. That voice? Ha ha ha, have you forgotten your own brother's voice? The door of the carriage opened and a man with sharp eyes stepped out. Yuan Kong paled, his fingers shaky. Second brother? Everyone gasped. The emperor's second brother, it's that second Prince Yuan Yang that went missing. What's he doing back? He was being hunted for treason and now. Third brother, you lost weight. Yuan Yang had a vile smile as he approached Yuan Kong, patting his cheek twice. When I told you to get thin, you said you couldn't, gaining even from drinking water. How come you're so thin? Oh, I got it. It was an act. When seizing the throne, you played the innocent chubby to avoid suspicion. You fooled me and our elder brother. Now that you got to be emperor, there's no need for any pretense, is there? Ha ha ha, clap. Yuan Yang made sure to slap hard enough to swell, laughing at his expense, driven by hatred. Old third, aren't you tired of acting? You became emperor, but now what? Aren't you just a lapdog licking my boots? How dare you address his majesty without proper respect? Long Kui shouted. Luo Yunhai scoffed. Ambassador, you represent the central area. Please watch yourself with Tianyu's emperor. Don't take it too far, too far. The lord of some third-rate empire can compare to the glorious Sword Star Empire's deputy minister of war. Yuan Yang snickered. Alliance leader Luo, your western lands is martial. Half of it is yours and you have my respect. As for his ex-lardness, what do you think the exalted double dragons would ever do to me? Yuan Yang gathered Yuan Qi in his palm. Luo Yunhai panicked and grabbed it. What are you doing? Just stretching. Alliance leader Luo, lighten up. I'm not about to cause trouble as the central area's ambassador, humph. Yuan Yang rolled his shoulder like he really was stretching. His hand slipped from Luo Yunhai's hold and sent a taunting and sinister look. Luo Yunhai gnashed his teeth, his face dark. Yuan Kong took a deep breath, bowing while straining to hold it in. After you, ambassador. Sure, your majesty. Yuan Yang showed a malicious smile, signaling the troops, enter the city but be careful. Prince of Harvest is sleeping and we don't want to disturb him or heads will roll. Yes, sir. The army rumbled onwards with dozens of carriages. Yuan Kong's group was filled with fury and revulsion. The Sword Star Empire's ambassador was Western Land's guest and they could do nothing against him. The same happened in the past in this nation, but regardless of the discontent, never had it been the emperor suffering for it. Though this time, it was the ambassador of the largest empire in the central area hitting the emperor of a third-rate nation. Empire's delegation entered the imperial capital, leaving Yuan Kong's group behind like dirt. Zhuo Fan nodded, to think it's Yuan Yang of all people. The former brash and reckless fool has smoothened out into a calculating man. Ha ha ha, time does change everything. The most double dragon manner can do when irate is to drive them out. For humiliating the delegation meant war with the Sword Star Empire, which none of the four lands had the nerve to risk. The Luo alliance has no choice but to swallow this up. If it's only some rudeness, they could just pull through. However, Zhuo Fan left, Miss Murong were keeping an eye on the garrison. There's no way Yuan Yang came to Tianyu just to take it out on the emperor. Murong Zhu rushed after him. She got so used to following Zhuo Fan, she did it out of reflex, so she could take in humanity in all its shades of gray. 6 hours later, the sun came down so the moon could take its rightful place. The imperial capital was decorated and dazzling, a different fervor setting in from daytime. At the garrison, a fat man paced around, bored as hell. Creek Yuan Yang stepped in, bowing. Deputy Minister Yuan Yang greets Prince of Harvest. Sir Yuan, you're finally here. I'm sick of staying all day in the carriage. Yuan Yang sat at the table, with the fatty coming over like an eager child. I did what you said and didn't accept anyone's invitation. Tonight you have to entertain me. The Prime Minister had me listen to you, but you can't just turn me into a prisoner. Yuan Yang smirked, his eyes shining with malice. No worries, Your Highness, I understand your plight. You're going to love it tonight. Really? He thanks Sir Yuan. Prince of Harvest had a knowing smile, twisting his fat fingers. Yuan Yang grinned, taking out civilian clothes. Your Highness, you're very precious and would draw attention. Change into these, then we can have fun. I'll have 2 men cover for you so no one finds out and shames us. I got it. The Prime Minister cares about this and I won't let him down. The prince changed and was a bundle of excitement as he walked outside. Sir Yuan, you're nice. Once we get back, I'll be sure to put in a good word with the Prime Minister. He. The Prince of Harvest left with 2 guards watching him. Yuan Yang's grin widened, put a good word. Haha, how pointless. Sir Yuan, Emperor Yuan invites you and Prince of Harvest to a feast. A guard knocked on the door. Yuan Yang said, I know, His Highness doesn't feel well so I'll be going alone. Understood, the man left. Yuan Yang straightened his clothes and set off. Zhuo Fan slipped out of the shadows. Murong Zhu asked, going to the imperial palace? No, after the idiot prince, he's pivotal. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone and Murong Zhu followed after him. An hour later, there was one particular building, lavishly decorated and filled with cheerful noises. It had a plaque 10 meters high and very conspicuous. Fragrant Manor, Prince of Harvest muttered, showing a degenerate smile as he approached. He, I feel right at home. Paradise, fairies, and ladies, here I come. Prince of Harvest was like a beast in heat, going straight in. His guards grinned behind him. Prince of Harvest was soon surrounded by cherry lips as he entered a room. He waved the 2 and they offered a bottle. Prince of Harvest drank it and his eyes went bloodshot as he roared, Tonight, I'll be taking on 100 people, who shall face me, ha ha ha, bam. The doors shut and moans, clamor and shrieks came out from behind it. The two guards stood outside, sharing a knowing smile. Our good prince likes nothing else but to engage in such activities, he. We're going in. Murongzu glanced at the shut doors from the shadows, and it was obvious what was going on behind them, reddening. Zhuo Fan smirked, all the more reason we need to enter. What's the point of tailing only to give up at the climax? How obscene. Murongzu glared at him with red ears and a hot face. How is that? I can't see what's happening in there now, can I? I can only guess based on those constant creaking and moans. How's it any different from looking from outside? Why enter then, to be on the safe side? My eyes aren't what they used to be, and I can't leave anything unturned, he. Zhuo Fan turned to mist and flew inside. The door opened and closed so fast and so little that the guards were oblivious. Murongzu blushed red-hot, tensing as she forced herself to go as well. The door clicked close and the guards felt something going in, but seeing nothing, they ignored it. She hid with Zhuo Fan in a corner, the degenerate sounds grating her ears. Zhuo Fan didn't even twitch. Even after 2 hours, the noises kept going strong, with the Prince of Harvest turning into an animal and howling like a savage. The girls all groaned and cried under his brutality. Murongzu bit her lip, glaring at Zhuo Fan and shouting, "Haven't you found anything after all this time?" "I did. What? He must have taken something to have boundless stamina." Zhuo Fan nodded like a sage. Murongzu's face twitched. "I'm talking about Bailey Jingwei's scheme here. I'm looking for that as well, but I haven't found anything. What a bummer, I can only hear." Zhuo Fan sighed, devastated. Murongzu was fuming. "Mad pervert, watch then, for I'm going." But then a person got thrown in through the window, looking either dead or unconscious. "There it is," Zhuo Fan grinned. "Any man seeking relief, even if under a stimulant, would not turn into a mindless animal." What was the point? Prince of Harvest is about to go raving mad, his drink spiked to numb his mind. "I think it's Bailey Jingwei's doing. What do you think, Miss Murong?" Murongzu was puzzled. "What are you thinking about?" Zhuo Fan asked, but then nodded. "Yo, that's just nasty. I may be a demon, but I have my principles and never dual cultivated. Yet you actually. I never imagined, you." Murongzu lowered her head in shame. "Rotten bastard, he's toying with me." Then the newcomer stirred and groaned. Murongzu started at the sounds. "Is it that child? Siphon," Zhuo Fan sighed. The crazed Prince of Harvest picked up on the girl's voice and turned with bloodshot eyes. He howled and threw himself at her. "Here comes another, ha ha ha." A finger flick hit the deranged man and he froze on the spot. Zhuo Fan lowered his hand. Murongzu was about to go. "I'll take the girl. She shouldn't be here, ruining her good name." "Pa," Zhuo Fan gripped her shoulder, earning an odd look from her. Luo Siphon stirred awake and Zhuo Fan pointed at Prince of Harvest so he could move again. The pretty girl aroused all his senses, howling as he jumped her. "Ah, who are you?" Luo Siphon came to with a start at the beastly and naked man throwing himself at her. She snapped her hands forward out of reflex, pushing him back into the floor and making him cough blood. The drug had long since taken over the Prince of Harvest's mind, numbing his senses and taking away his reasoning. Regardless of the pain, he only saw the girl as a tasty morsel, coming at her with lust in his eyes. Luo Siphon was scared silly, but her instincts as a peak radiant stage cultivator kicked in once more, flinging the deranged man away and bleeding. The man was so far gone he cared not for his life, going for her again and again, only to be repelled every time. By the 30-ish time Prince of Harvest's fat body got bounced back, he looked battered all over, but his eyes never lost their ravenous hunger as they sought out Luo Siphon. Luo Siphon was horrified, even though she won. Murongzu looked inquisitively at Zhuo Fan. Why? Why what? You had him restrained, so why let him go so the girl would deal with him?" Zhuo Fan said. "I feel like finding out what Bailey Jingwei is up to, and for that I let him win." "You let him win? Sure. I've had my eyes on the central area for years now, and I'm planning on destroying it soon for my plan to return. I can't wait a moment longer. As for why I held back, one is because Bailey Yushin's a mystery, and two, Central Area's recovery in these recent years has been going far too easily. You've seen for yourself how strong Central Area was in the war, stronger than all 4 lands forces." Zhuo Fan sighed. "Unless it makes a move, no one can shake that rock. Now that he finally showed his hand, I'm not about to stop him." Murongzu's brow shook. "Then why did you stop his savage act for a moment there? You could have not interfered at all." "Miss Murong know this, I let him move, but I also have my limits. No harm will ever come to a Luo clansman." Zhuo Fan eased a long breath. "In all fairness, my plan would have been in motion all the same if Danking Shen had killed Yunhai. But I stepped in because he cannot die. The same went for stopping the crazed prince, so Siphon wouldn't get hurt. By letting him act, I allowed Bailey Jingwei's plan to continue as I moved under this distraction. Nothing would have happened since Siphon is at peak radiant stage, while the prince is just a fresh radiant stage cultivator. It'll only make Yunhai feel bad is all." Murongzu gasped, looking away. "I don't get what you're saying at all, schemer." Ha ha ha, Miss Murong, you're catching on. That you before would have buted in on the spot to help the needy, for the common good, for righteousness and purging of evil. Now you have learned patience. No, I haven't. It's because I'm still of two minds on what is right or wrong, and I don't want to make the wrong judgment. I've seen the people go through countless changes this 100 years, which only plunged me into deeper confusion. Now I'm going with you so I can see your choices. Murong Zhu squinted. Zhuo Fan smirked. Miss Murong, I'll share with you a story, one that will clear all doubts about right and wrong, good and evil. I listened to it in my travels through the 5 lands. It was illuminating, so much that my heart grew incredibly while my cultivation dropped 5 layers. Dropped, sure did. True self-art focuses on the heart and heart alone, bringing one back to one's true nature. Getting stronger is pointless, with only a growing heart and mentality would prove fruitful. Once reaching one's origin, I will finally see for myself what the world Tao really is. Now I'm interested to hear it. Murong Zhu showed a rare smile, a sight for sore eyes, yet lost on Zhuo Fan. Bam. That marked the 50th time Prince of Harvest went on the offensive and was repelled. The pain and hurt his body endured had no way of breaking through his drug-addled mind still, getting his feet under him with a loony smile and greedy eyes. Completing the picture was the constant blood coming from his mouth, mixed with bits and pieces from his innards. Luo Sifan's brow shook hard, unable to look at the ghastly figure. Who is this freak? He's like the living dead. Doesn't he feel any pain? He. Prince of Harvest twisted his body, taking another step for Luo Sifan. Blood poured out of him still, driven by only one instinct to mate. The innocent girl felt sick to her stomach, opting to dodge this time. The doors burst open just then, and the 2 guards flew in, followed by 2 new people. Sister Sifan, Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang had arrived. Watching Prince of Harvest's bizarre shape going for Luo Sifan had them in shock just then. Who the hell are you? Don't touch her. The 2 coordinated perfectly, one with a palm, the other with a kick, striking the vitals of the beaten prince. Long Jianshan was ruthless enough to even go for Prince of Harvest's heart, punching a hole in the fat man's chest. Zai Nianyang did an overhead kick, right at the face, removing the head from that gross body. Blood gushed everywhere, while the headless Prince of Harvest twitched once before splattering in his own blood. That was my claw, I saved Sifan. That was my kick, I saved Sister Sifan. Ignoring the corpse, the 2 stared daggers at each other, then rushed at Luo Sifan's side. Sister Sifan, are you all right? With a blank face, Luo Sifan finally snapped awake, pointing at the corpse. Who is he? Prince. A cry came before they could reply. The 2 guards turned their gaping expressions from the blood to the 3 as they spewed fire. You have some nerve to kill Sword Star Empire's Prince of Harvest. You killed the Sword Star Empire's envoy and have declared war on us. Sword Star Empire's envoy? The trio shook all over, then went slack from shock. We're done for. Zhuo Fan chuckled from the shadows. Oh, the brats are in for it now, ha ha ha. Is this Bailey Jingwei's plan? Dragging Western lands into a war? If it were that easy, he wouldn't be Bailey Jingwei. War, he can't suffer from it, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan waved her off, walking away. Bailey Jingwei has started, and so shall I. I've waited 100 years for this. Wu Randong, your bitter wait is at an end. In the brightly lit imperial palace, with 3 rows of guards inside and another 3 outside, making it foolproof, Yuan Yang attended the banquet held for the Sword Star Empire delegates, ridiculing, "Third brother, it's been ages since my last feast in the imperial palace. It feels awfully foreign, since when did a third-rate empire have soul harmony guards, and dozens of them too? Third brother, you've sure gotten the empire far, ha ha ha. Imperial brother, there's no need for hazing. The Luo Alliance sent the guards for your protection. I am but the lord of a meager empire, and have no right to have even one soul harmony expert in my employ. To be frank, master is only at the 5th layer of ethereal stage." Yuan Kong spoke coldly. Luo Yunhai's group stared hard at him. Yuan Yang sneered. Fang Qiubai, isn't he Tianyu's divine dragon? Why is he such a disappointment? Only 5th layer ethereal stage, that's my level. Ha ha ha, brother is Sword Star Empire's deputy minister of war, enjoying lush resources, unlike our barren lands. It's normal for brother to outdo master. Yuan Yang nodded. Right you are, brother. Central area's environment is way better than here. Take the lowest official in the central area and you still won't find any weaker than the emperor here. In face of such an empty taunt, Yuan Kong smiled, to each his own ambition. Some like to be the head of something, however small, while others prefer to bask in the glorious stool of others, to smell their stench. There's no forcing one's nature. Sometimes, not just any can be a leader, no matter how much they try. The bite Yuan Yang placed in his mouth shook, his face darkening from fury. You have guts, Yuan Kong. Luo Yunhai was stern, while the guards drew around the emperor. Yuan Yang's fury abated, snickering at everyone's tense looks. Brother, why do I feel these guards aren't here to keep me safe, but you instead? Brother, by no means do I deserve such honor. ignoring the empty formality. Yuan Yang's eyes shone. Sometimes the guard's level matters not when they protect the wrong asset. Luo Yunhai's face fell, staring hard with a frown. What's that supposed to mean? There's huge trouble, panicked cries echoed out into the hall from outside, making everyone frown. Yuan Yang was the only one still sneering. The one howling staggered inside, and Yuan Kong shouted at him, "What's all this fuss? Speak clearly about what happened." "Yes, your majesty." The man wiped his heavy brow and bowed, still shaken up. "Your majesty, Sword Star Empire's envoy, Prince of Harvest Bali Yunaming W was what?" Everyone's heart sank as Yuan Kong howled. The man cried as he bowed, "Killed." "What?" Yuan Yang smacked the table as he raged. "What did you say? What happened to the Prince of Harvest?" The man shook all over. "The envoy Prince of Harvest was killed." "Absurd. How could this have happened?" Yuan Yang raved and looked around. "Do any of you have any idea who Prince of Harvest is?" "He is the 15th grandson of His Imperial Majesty, bestowed the title of Prince at the age of 18, out of deep love. He was sent to the Western lands to entrust you with his safety and learn of the world, but you had an assassin at every corner I see. Sword Star Empire will not stand for this. Everything that comes is on you." Everyone's heart was in their throats. The Central Area envoy, a prince no less, was killed here. They had to answer for it, unable to escape such dire consequences. Yuan Kong pondered. "Brother, it's too early to assume. You said that the prince was unwell and can't attend the feast. Then he must be in his quarters. How could he be assassinated?" "Yeah, the guards there are thorough. Not only deputies' men, but also Luo alliances. How could there be a hit?" Luo Yunhai spoke with conviction. Yuan Yang mocked. "How should I know? Where was Prince of Harvest attacked?" Yuan Yang looked with disdain at the man. "Sir, Prince of Harvest was murdered at Fragrant Manor." "Fragrant Manor? A brothel?" Yuan Kong let it slip and earned the ire of his empress, Long Kui, who whispered, "What's with that quick reaction in calling it a brothel? Do you know it?" No, not at all. I just heard about it, yeah, from Zio Lizzie, ha ha ha. Won't an eunuch feel crushed going there?" Long Kui had a cruel smile. Yuan Kong gulped and switched topics. "Empress, this isn't the time for trifles. The envoy is dead with heavy implications. We must ascertain the truth. Brother, why did the Prince of Harvest, safe in his quarters, appear in a brothel? Is there something we should know?" Yuan Kong spoke earnestly. "This is no longer a matter of protection. We can't protect him if your envoy goes wherever without telling us. We need to be aware of his every move, be it the brothel or the bathroom." Luo Yunhai gave the emperor a thumbs up. The emperor ain't just for show, so quick to shirk the blame. The empress did not complain further, knowing this was matters of national security. Yuan Yang rubbed his beard, his eyes flashing. "Guard, execute all who were on duty. What's the point of them if they can't even notice the prince sneaking out?" "Yes," a man next to him bowed and ran off. Yuan Yang glanced at Yuan Kong, satisfied with my unbiased decision. "Brother, who's at fault will get the blame. I know how to be fair." "I have no comment." Yuan Kong refused to reply. Yuan Yang looked at the man he sent. "Though the guards are punished for neglecting their duty, they're not to blame for the murder. Now, who was it that killed the prince? Have you caught the outrageous criminal?" "Yes, but..." The man hesitated, glancing at Luo Yunhai. Luo Yunhai's heart sank with unease. Yuan Yang demanded, "Stop blabbering and bring them here. Let us see who had the nerve to commit such a treasonous act." "Yes." The man nodded and sighed as he went to pass the order. 5 people came in, escorted by many guards. Luo Yunhai cried out, "Siphon, Dad." Luo Siphon teared up, looking victimized along with Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang, alliance leader. "What's the meaning of this? What did they do this time? You're supposed to bring the criminal, not a girl." Yuan Yang said the obvious. Prince of Harvest's guards bowed and pointed at them. "Deputy sir, these 3 killed the prince. The body is outside, scattered." "What?" Luo Yunhai gasped. It can't be." The 3 lowered their heads, admitting with their silence. Luo Yunhai held his head, with Yuan Kong growing restless. "What's with this girl getting involved in this huge problem? A ruse must be at play here." Yuan Yang snickered, his hand gushing with yuan qi. "Since we have the culprits and it's due to our neglect, I shall do away with the criminals and not trouble you, ha ha ha." Yuan Yang's hand came down on Luo Siphon's head. Luo Siphon cried out in fright, the attack stopping inches from her hair. She cracked a frightened eyelid to see her father gripping the deadly attack with fury. Peak Soul Harmony Alliance leader, a man among men deserving his name, Humph. Yuan Yang's face shook, pain stabbing his hand as he released his attack, yet challenging Luo Yunhai, alliance leader. "What's this? You ought to know this matter involves the envoy and shouldn't be biased. I killed the guilty guards, and killing the culprits should be the best resolution for you." Luo Yunhai took a deep breath, not releasing his grip, showing the deep worry plaguing his heart. Yuan Yang laughed. "Alliance leader, are you impeding me in exacting judgment on the culprits? The Sword Star Empire won't stand for it. Central Area and Western lands will be at war because of you. Are you ready to take on such a burden?" Brother Yunhai, Yuan Kong cried out, figuring something out. What has niece been doing in a brothel? What exactly happened? Luo Yunhai came to, finding a lifeline, and asked, yes, what were you doing there? Dad, I don't know how, but as we walked around the city, someone knocked me out. The next thing I knew, some naked man jumped me and I smacked him back. I fended him off dozens of times but didn't kill him. Luo Sifan pleaded her innocence. Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang bobbed their heads. Yes, Alliance leader, we chased the black figure, unable to catch him as he toyed with us. Then we reached a building where we heard Sister Sifan's screams and ran there. But the two guards at the door wouldn't let us in and we had to fight our way in. What we saw inside was a weird thing jumping Sifan. I acted without realizing, running my hand through his chest. I sent his head flying with a kick. Zai Nianyang admitted we had no way of knowing he was the prince. Everyone knew then and there. It's a ruse, clear as day. Luo Yunhai glared at Yuan Yang, gnashing his teeth. Sir Yuan, you come at me. Do not drag children into this. You didn't like how Danking Shen couldn't take my head, did you? Alliance leader, what are you saying? Everyone knows it's between you and Danking Shen. I represent an empire as a peaceful envoy. Why would I ever want the great marshal of the Western lands dead? Yuan Yang's words dripped with cruelty. You need to stop being so biased. Brats, you said someone did this to you. Well, where is he? The three lowered their heads in defeat. Yang laughed, his eyes sharp. With no one around, you have no proof. For all I know, you could be making it up to save your hide, while your heavy crime of killing the prince is undoubtedly clear. We all heard you admit it. You're guilty and deserve to die. Yuan Yang snickered as he turned to Luo Yunhai. Alliance leader, is there something you wish to say? Luo Yunhai had a dark look on his face. I just want to know what Prince of Harvest was doing in the brothel. Yeah, how? With such a tight guard around. Yuan Yang had an answer ready, turning to the two guards. Catching on, they cupped his hands. Deputy sir, the prince's character is known to all our people. Having come here as an envoy and unable to bring company, the prince had been feeling down these long days of travel. Now that we got to a big city, he disguised himself with normal clothes and slipped out. None here knew of the Lord's true identity, with only us following him. He was quite free, but then, I see, you didn't let the prince out today just so he could go bed someone tonight. Luo Yunhai fumed at Yuan Yang. He knew then that with such a big welcome they held, the prince had just to show his face, and everyone would know him for who he was. Their scouts would tail him from the shadows and make sure to keep him safe. Yuan Yang grinned cruelly, mocking. Alliance leader, you shouldn't accuse someone without proof. I won't hear it. Everyone here knows our prince had been bottling up his needs for so long and just wanted to let loose. But at the brothel, these brats killed him without reason. It was my duty to dole out punishment to the lax guards. The prince had no restraint over his lower head and got himself killed. What's left is to punish the killers. Then, Alliance leader, I'll be taking the brats if you wouldn't mind. Yuan Yang flicked his hand and guards went for the kids. Luo Yunhai shouted while defending them, let's see you try. Whoosh. In moments, many experts had Yuan Yang and his men surrounded instead, this being Luo Alliance's turf. Yuan Yang cared not, for his aim was achieved. Alliance leader, and what is this? Yuan Yang waved, I'm a Central Area envoy, a guest to Western lands that came here brokering peace. Our prince might have died without reason in your home, but we still have to be fair and not let this harm our talks. We only wish to give the Prince of Harvest justice. The same for anyone, regardless of status, a life for a life. Everyone in the world agrees to this logic, and yet the Luo clan, hailed as righteous and loyal, can't. Or maybe you'd like the Central Area to drill it into you. Luo Yunhai's face twitched in anger, a vein popping from strain. No matter what, no one will lay a finger on them, or they'll have to deal with me. My alliance leader, that's some fire in you. In broad daylight, clearly shielding criminals and ruining the peace between our lands. Looking at him, then at the sky, Yuan Yang chuckled. I thought Double Dragon Manor answered for Western lands, but now I see the times have changed, with the Luo alliance taking over. Heart sank in panic, knowing he was throwing blame around just so the two would be at each other's throat. Yuan Kong waved, brother, please don't say nonsense. The Luo alliance handling this area and Western lands' defenses were agreed upon by everyone. Double Dragon Manor entrusted them with this duty. With such a serious situation, it's only proper for the alliance leader to make a thorough investigation. It's all within his right. Right, humph. Yuan Yang mocked. What right would that be when the three culprits are related to him yet he gets to investigate? Not to mention, the truth is clear as day. Investigate what then? Alliance leader's reaction is clearly that of harboring them. Yuan Yang's accusation only grew wilder and wilder. Luo Yunhai was silent, stewing in rage. Fine, this is Luo Alliance's turf and we're just a group of delegates, unable to take the criminals from Luo Alliance. Let's go. Being at odds for a while, Yuan Yang smiled in the end, calling his men back. I'll be sure to report this to the Empire and the Double Dragon Manor. Let's see what they have to say. I only wanted to handle this quietly, on account of Tianyu being my homeland, but you just keep fighting me on this. Now you'll suffer for it, humph. Yuan Yang glared at Luo Yunhai one last time, laughing as he walked out. Yuan Kong panicked at the thought of making this matter bigger, rushing after Yuan Yang. Brother, wait, please don't. Yuan Yang got what he wanted and saw no reason to waste words on the other. He rushed back, eager to send his report. Prime Minister, the first step is complete, humph. 2 jade slips streaked the sky with their green light, reaching Bailey Jingwei and Double Dragon Manor in 3 days. That was the moment all the land's leaders came to know of Alliance leader Luo's daughter's crimes, to which Bailey Jingwei had his response ready from the start. Zither Sword King led 5 million soldiers of the Empire to ramp up the pressure on the border between the 2 lands. Readying for war, bastard, this is just a pretext of Bailey Jingwei to take it out on Western lands. Bam. In the Double Dragon Manor, Exalted High Ran slapped the table, holding 2 jade slips in the other, one reporting the events, the other being Yuan Yang's accusations. It just happened, yet they already have men at the border. It was premeditated without question. Exalted by May sighed with a frown. Yes, I did say there was something off about the 4 lands envoys. It was all a ruse, but why must it be us? The other lands are doing well, as if to state we're the ones at fault. We shouldn't have agreed to letting the envoy in the first place. What's the point of saying that now? Send the other 3 lands messages that we need to work together. Exalted High Ran rolled his eyes. Exalted by May nodded. That's all we can do. At least 5 million isn't a lot. It doesn't look like Bailey Jingwei is ready for war. Double Dragon Manor's plea for help reached the other lands. Alas, relations weren't as good as before. Did they think Bailey Jingwei sent some pushovers to the other 3 lands? No renowned official he sent was weak in his book, that was for sure. A month passed, finding Zhuo Fan on his throne in a gloomy hall. Murongzu was by his side, overlooking him laying out his meticulous plan. Below was the second young master of Serene Shores Trading, the envoy of Devil Palace, Wu Randong. This is what I want you to do. You got all that, you'll have to endure for a bit. Zhuo Fan spoke. Wu Randong's brow moved as he bowed, looking excited. Palace Lord, I've been waiting for this day for too long. Sir could even cast me aside and I'd still be at peace with it. It's not casting you out, but the winning move. Zhuo Fan grinned. What about the Luo clan? How are they faring? They should be ready to give. Wu Randong bowed. Palace Lord is correct. The Luo clan is stuck, assaulted from all sides. Double Dragon Manor asked for help from the other lands, but were quickly rejected. Why would the 4 lands, united against the central area, sit back in Western lands' time of need? Murongzu frowned. Even interdependent, they shouldn't just let Western lands go to war. Zhuo Fan shook his head, saying to Wu Randong, share the details with her. Yes, Palace Lord. Wu Randong bowed, speaking gravely. Miss Murong, the 3 lands are in opposition in this matter and not a whole, all because the central area holds the moral high ground. Murongzu asked, moral. To an empire, the envoy represents a nation's ruler. To sects, he represents a sect leader's authority. To the land's powers, he is a proxy to the highest power. By killing him, it's like killing the ruler he represents. No one could accept this unless you're out for war. Killing an enemy's envoy is like killing their leader. Wu Randong continued. That's why this matter is taken as being the Luo clan's fault by any and all in the 3 lands, while the central area is in the right. Adding to this, the central area's envoys are in their lands, all the reason why the 3 lands are finding it hard to step in. Fan nodded. This is morality and the apparent righteousness all people have. It's universal law for one to repay with life or money for a crime. It stands at the core of every human, the basis of any human society. Without it, humans would be scattered, let alone having the common interest the 4 lands once had. That's why no one can oppose such a principle, for it's like denying yourself. As the Luo clan had no hard proof for their innocence, none would be taking their side. Palace Lord's talk of principle is the deepening discrepancy between the 3 lands. That is, whether or not it's worth helping the Luo clan. By siding with them in the open, it's like throwing away the sense of justice all people have. By turning a deaf ear, they fear the central area would use this chance to remove one of their allies. Adding to that, the central area's envoys are in their homes, so they can hardly show any support, while also talking it out with the envoys in hope of diffusing this problem. That's precisely why war must have a good pretext. One must have the moral high ground, or else the one at threat would be himself. Zhuo Fan smiled. Though every land fears the Empire's war when there's no need to, Bailey Jingwei is so cautious and subtle, meaning the Sword Star Empire's frail stability would crack the minute any large deployment is made. For that reason, he only sent 5 million soldiers at the border to intimidate and bluster. Wu Randong nodded. Palace Lord is correct. Bailey Jingwei is now aware of Devil Palace and can no longer wage war on a grand scale like before. Though his scare tactic is no less believable to the lands, ha ha ha. The four lands are a shadow of themselves a century ago, suffering heavy losses. Zhuo Fan's face hardened. That can only mean, to broker peace with Bailey Jingwei, they need a scapegoat. Miss Murong will be going to the Luo clan again. If Yunhai recalls my actions, Bailey Jingwei's scheme will fall apart, but he isn't me. Zhuo Fan stood and walked, with Murong Zhu on his heels. Wu Randong bowed, safe travels, palace lord. In the heart of Luo Alliance, everyone was looking pensive, waiting for Double Dragon Manor's message and trying to come up with a solution on their own. They kept coming back to the killing of Prince of Harvest. It was the only reason why the central area could show their might and send troops to intimidate despite the lands being against it. With the kids killing Prince of Harvest out in the open, the Empire coming for justice was only proper. They could say it was a trap all along, but the schemer was also sure to tie up any loose ends. That guy in black who took Luo Sifan was gone. With so many guards among the delegation, anyone could have put on a disguise and led the kids away. It's impossible. Zhu Chengfeng shook his head, worried as much as the other two. Bailey Jingwei must have set it up, but why? Is it just to target us? Even if we admit it, what then? It'll only take out some scapegoats. One prince for the life of 3 kids. Why would he do that? Lang Wucheng was solemn. It's obvious he's not after the brats with such a twisted trick. He knows clan head would never give them up. Lang Wucheng glanced at the pensive Luo Yunhai. Luo Sifan was in her mother's embrace, looking at her father with tears in her eyes. Whoosh, Wen Tao and Wu Qinkyu rushed in. How is it? Luo Yunhai jumped to his feet and welcomed them. What did the exalted say? The two found it hard to speak, with Wu Qinkyu starting. Brother Yunhai were the ones at fault, while Bailey Jingwei had kept talking with the 3 lands to stay out of it. They take it as being against the 4 lands' common interest, and nothing more than a personal grudge, while hoping of diffusing this problem to avoid war. The exalted. Each man for themselves, to sacrifice them for the Western lands' peace. If the matter isn't settled, they would keep pushing us and the other 3 lands leaving us aside. I knew it. Zhu Chengfeng leaned back in his chair with a sigh. Luo Sifan cried in her mother's embrace. Mom, Sifan, it's all right. I won't let anything happen to you. Rubbing her back, Yuer's heart was torn as well. Luo Yunhai gnashed his teeth. In other words, the exalted want my daughter to take the blame to make the central area retreat. The two hung their heads. Don't they know she's been set up? Luo Yunhai howled. Wu Qinkyu sighed. Anyone can see what is going on, but without proof, the central area had the pretext to wage war while the other lands have no reason to intervene. How could they helping Luo Alliance harbor criminals? No leader of the 3 lands would ever accept this. The war must be right, even if on the surface. It's not about the lands standing united, it's about reason. Wen Tao patted Luo Yunhai's shoulder. Brother Yunhai, sorry, we're unable to give much help. Luo Yunhai's brow shook, looking at his crying daughter. His eyes shone and stormed out. No one chased him. Maybe Alliance leader needs time to calm down. 5 million soldiers wasn't many, but they had a sword king leading them. When the war started, the death toll would be huge, something none from Western lands wanted to happen. 3 days later, Yuan Yang walked in the dead of night through a gloomy forest when someone popped in front of him. Yuan Yang smiled and cupped his hands. Alliance leader Luo, was it you that asked me to see me here? What would Alliance leader ask of me on this perfect night for murder? Let the children go. Luo Yunhai glared at him. Yuan Yang cackled. What's this, Alliance leader? It's a heavy crime for her to kill the Empire's precious prince. With the entire affair so huge, you just want me to let your daughter go? You're barking at the wrong tree. I'm just an envoy, a messenger. I don't have the authority to pardon a national criminal. Spare me the theatrics. We're the only ones here. Why are you doing this? Luo Yunhai shouted. Yuan Yang looked around, showing his sneaky grin. Nothing, really. Our intent was plain from the start, to exact justice for Prince of Harvest, take the culprits and punish them. Yuan Yang emphasized his words, reading Luo Yunhai's face. The kids didn't do crap. There's no point in taking them. Luo Yunhai caught his drift, squinting. I'll go with you. Bailey Jingwei is after me, isn't he? Then I'll go with you to the central area. Yuan Yang chuckled. To the central area. The great alliance leader Luo, with half of Western lands behind you, there's absolutely no reason to kidnap the mighty marshal. This would make your friends attack and will start another world war all over again. Although I haven't been in Western lands for many years, I also know very well that the Luo alliance puts benevolence first and has many allies. Touching you is like poking the hornet's nest. Shove it. Don't you need a pretext? Luo Yunhai sneered. I made the brats kill Prince of Harvest. They're just like assassins that listen to my orders. I'll bear this blame. Take me the main culprit while leaving those nobodies aside. Yuan Yang stared in those firm eyes and chuckled. Is this true? My word is my bond. Great, since the alliance leader said it, I'll oblige, but no take backsies, hee hee hee. Yuan Yang snickered, his eyes shining. Alliance leader, after you. Though you should know, the 5 million-strong army at the border won't leave until you enter our empire's lands. You don't have to tell me. Luo Yunhai was calm, walking forward. Yuan Yang followed with a winning smile. In the morning of the next day, the delegation sent word to all Western lands a most shocking news. The alliance leader Luo, Marshal Luo Yunhai, instigated the death of Prince of Harvest, and Deputy Yuan Yang was taking him back to execute him. Yang's delegation was set to leave. Thousands upon thousands of men had the tiny Tianyu imperial capital surrounded, ready for war. Yuan Yang snorted and glanced at unconcerned Luo Yunhai, alliance leader. I told you that you have many friends. We haven't even started and they came. Humph. Friends, step aside please. Luo Yunhai caught on and stepped forward with a bow and cupped hands. Thank you all for your intentions towards me and the Luo alliance, but the central area and western lands are on the path to war because of me. Giving my life for western lands is my duty. I ask that everyone accepts. Luo Yunhai bowed once more. The huge crowd replied in kind. We respect alliance leader Luo's righteousness. Dad, Luo Sifan rushed out of the ranks, going for her father. Dad, it's all my fault. I should take the blame. It isn't yours to carry. Luo Yunhai smiled. Sifan, it had nothing to do with you. They were after me. Why else were they so quick to accept me taking the blame? Now go back. Don't let this hold you back. It'll all be fine. Dad, Luo Sifan sobbed. Long Jianshan and Zai Nanyang approached, looking forlorn with their hung heads. Luo Yuncheng, Yuer, and Zhu Chengfeng wanted to get their clan head home, but they knew his mind was set and did not say anything. Only Yuer came next to Luo Yunhai, holding his hand. I'm going with you. Yuer, ever since we held hands for the first time, we never separated. Yuner smiled as she turned to Luo Yuncheng. Sister, I'll leave Sifan in your care. Luo Yuncheng's eyes shook, looking long at the couple, and gave a painful nod. Mom, you too, Luo Sifan cried harder, crushed from sorrow. Yuer rubbed her cheek with a smile. Once together, only death will do us part. Sifan, I won't ever leave your father. I'm sorry for not looking after you. Dad, Mom, Luo Sifan cried harder. Luo Yuncheng and Yuer exchanged looks, and the latter knocked her out to let Luo Yuncheng take her. To their relief, Luo Yuncheng took the girl and returned to the crowd. But Luo Yuncheng was also struggling, closing her eyes shut as tears fell down her cheeks, her heart breaking with every step. I'll leave the Luo clan to you stewards. Luo Yunhai saluted Zhu Chengfeng and the others, leaving with Yuan Yang's escort. In their travels, any with even a bit of honor would see them go. They all knew the Luo clan was framed. That was why Luo Yunhai took the blame from his daughter to settle the tense situation. He had earned everyone's respect and admiration with his selfless act. Yuan Kong and every sect leader, including the former enemy Qin Hao from Qin society came. All known figures came to see Luo Yunhai off, the greatest meeting in Western lands. It caused a great shock in even Yuan Yang. Liu Alliance has far greater clout in Western lands than I thought. The only one missing is Double Dragon Manor. From a dark corner, Zhuo Fan watched with a shaking head. Oh, those old coots, they won't even put up a token of effort. Humph, he is giving his life for Western lands, and by not showing even the slightest intention, they'll only earn the people's ire. You won't step in to save him. Luo Yunhai didn't die to Danking Shen, but will now be executed in the Sword Star Empire capital, Murongzu teased. Zhuo Fan shook his head. You think Bailey Jingwei fanned the flames so hard and even brought an army just for the measly Luo alliance leader? Haha, a pawn is only a pawn in your hand. Once crushed, it's worthless. Yunhai won't die in the empire, for he has plenty of worth. How could Bailey Jingwei do away with him before squeezing him for all his worth? You mean Bailey Jingwei is on the move? Yep, with Yunhai in his control, he ought to have enough pieces to act. Only when he moves, I can move too. Zhuo Fan sighed. 100 years passed, yet the four lands leaders have not made an ounce of progress, Bailey Jingwei playing them like a fiddle. Murongzu chuckled. Oh, is there another way of handling this matter? I find Luo Yunhai's sacrifice for the good of others is honorable. How would you handle it? Humph, giving your life for peace is honorable, sure, but it's not to settle things, it's because he had no choice. Bailey Jingwei forced him into a corner. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Miss Murong, what you and Yunhai along with many value honor, it is in fact a great flaw. In the end, people harm themselves. Why do you say that? Oh, I did say I was going to tell you a story. This is the perfect setting. Care to listen? Zhuo Fan didn't wait for her answer, getting right to it. Once upon a time, there were two warring kingdoms. They both had prisoners of war and sometimes exchanged them, while most of the time employed them as slaves. One kingdom decreed that any who brought back their fellow people would be rewarded. And so, many merchants traveled to the enemy kingdom and had no trouble buying some prisoners of war to bring back, receiving glory and wealth. But one man among them refused, more than happy to hand the wealth over to the officials. What do you think of him? Murongzu frowned. Honorable and kind, not minding little remuneration, and a man of virtue. This is the righteousness you know, right? Yes, Murongzu nodded. Zhuo Fan laughed. The story has yet to end. When this same man you consider virtuous and honorable returned to his master and gave his report filled with pride, how do you think the master reacted? If the master was just as upright, he would praise him. He was upright, true, garnering respect, but he did not shower the disciple in praise, instead giving him 2 slaps, ha ha ha. Why, it totally baffled Zhu. Zhuo Fan snickered. That's the same reaction the disciple had. He helped people for neither profit nor fame, so where did he do wrong? His master replied that after the law was placed, people could earn a fortune for redeeming prisoners of war and fame along with respect of others. But what about those that refused the reward? It takes money to redeem prisoners of war, but when you ask for a reward, it may seem like your honor and decency is being questioned. Saving people from misery has nothing to do with honor or decency, and by not being rewarded for the hard work, who will still do it, just like the man who redeemed without reward, thinking he was doing good. When in fact, when people see him as an example, who would go back to redeem prisoners, losing money and the chance of fame is a lose-lose deal. This leads to no prisoners being bought back, living the rest of their lives in misery and torment. So then, is such an act righteous or evil? Stunned speechless, Zhu was lost for words. The righteousness you hold dear may not be in the people's benefit. The evil you believe may also not be in detriment to life. Whoosh, his hand shone and revealed white paper between the two. Zhuo Fan grinned, like this paper, I see my side as righteous and you see yours as righteous, but who is to say which is right, which is clearer? Zhu's heart sank. Zhuo Fan laughed, dangling the paper. In the end, what we choose isn't right or wrong, but what we want to see or face. Once you see what others want to do, we just show it to them. Just like in the story, the goal is to redeem prisoners and save them from suffering. It's not to show off your moral values and pointless theatrics that are more of a hindrance than help, ha ha ha. But how are we to see what we want? By following the trend. Zhuo Fan grinned, human nature is selfish, you can't deny it. The heart has demons, something else you can't deny. This, however, does not mean such a person isn't capable of virtue. Just like that law, sending everyone to redeem prisoners, making them do good while also fulfilling their desire for fame and fortune. This is the trend, what everyone yearns for. It's totally natural for a good man to be selfish. The righteous one holds isn't to purge one's demons, but embracing them instead, for righteous and demonic may not be in such contradictions to begin with. Zhu gave him a long look and a nod. In other words, anything is allowed, be it good or evil, as long as it follows a good trend. Going by the upright and honorable Miss Murong, that is your wish. Zhuo Fan smiled, just like another tale. A thief entered a rich house to steal, only to find the owner deathly wounded and called for help, leading to his capture. But at the trial, he was released. The verdict read, I would rather have thieves saving lives than our world turned into a living hell with none lending a hand. This is also a trend. Reason dictates that releasing a thief was against the law, but it gives birth to a trend, making life precious, far more precious than anything in the world. Like so, it would lead to the belief that even if one steals, he would do not harm. Those who harmed would be punished severely, while those who didn't will have lighter sentences. It's clearly his own evil machination, yet the trend made it honorable by saving lives as result. Thus, evil is evil, stealing is stealing, fighting is fighting, yet there would no longer be harmed people. Not for others, but for oneself. Zhu nodded numbly, her heart changing as she discovered a new way of looking at things. Zhuo Fan chuckled, turning to the tide of people. Returning to Yunhai, he took the blame to secure Western land's safety, an act both honorable and admirable. But after that, Bailey Jingwei's plan bears fruit. His plan. Making a crack in Western lands. Zhuo Fan spoke. Yunhai's development was too fast this past century, gaining too much attention from the Double Dragon Manor, still holding the last word in the Western lands. This is similar to the Luo clan's beginning. I went for quick growth then because I believed to lord over the rest in quick succession. But the Luo alliance is going even faster while lacking the ability to overcome others. As it is, it only lacks some heavyweights and it would replace Double Dragon Manor. In short, it only needs time. Seizing the boss seat has to be done fast to minimize the danger. When I brought up the Luo clan, I played hard and fast, keeping it in the shadows, out of prying eyes, while the Luo alliance's intent had not just been found out, but decades in advance. While other factors played a role, Double Dragon Manor aren't open with their hostility, but it is there and growing. When Danking Shen came and in the Prince matter, Double Dragon Manor wanted to cut the Luo alliance down to size to crack it. A gap Bailey Jingwei is sure to use to slip right in. Zhu squinted. You mean Bailey Jingwei isn't starting a war with Western lands but wants to drive a wedge? In war, the 4 lands unite and there's also Devil Palace hiding in the central area. He'll never do it, Zhuo Fan continued. so he can only play in skirmishes, making a gap in Western lands, the hostility between the Luo alliance and Double Dragon Manor. This had yet to be nuanced until now, but today it has been cemented and would lead to a huge crack in Western lands' defenses. It's plain to see what influence the Luo alliance has in Western lands. Yunhai's fate is bound to raise discontent in the hearts of not just the Luo alliance, but many other factions in Western lands. Double Dragon Manor is the big leader of Western lands. He can lash out at the little guy all he wants, so long as they are in their house. While outside, he has to protect him. It's his job. It's public knowledge the Luo alliance suffered for nothing, and now Yunhai would suffer a fate he could not escape by taking all the blame. In this time of peril, Double Dragon Manor gave not a token of help, throwing the little guy to the wolves. What will the other little guys think? They'll be disappointed. The Luo alliance was threatening Double Dragon Manor, but at least play your role, easing the other little guys' hearts. That's why I wondered just how these old coots got to lead Western lands. Murongzu's face twitched. The exalted had towered over Western lands for thousands of years as men of virtue and honor, unlike the devious and twisted guy you are. Even if honorable, they have their own demons and desires, lust for fame and fortune. How could they just forget their duty just because they find Luo alliance an eyesore? True, the older the senior, the unsteadier the heart. Murongzu sighed. Zhuo Fan nodded, then shook his head, though this isn't half bad either. At the very least, they talked it out with the other lands and didn't stone the Luo clan where it stood. This showed they knew good from bad, and greed had yet to cloud their judgment, just a mere omission. That's already kindness from a leader. If it were me, what? The Luo clan would have long since been ashes, Zhuo Fan said. Murongzu sighed. The Luo clan must be thankful that they have you as a steward and not an enemy. By the way, didn't you say you have a solution? What is it? Oh, mine is a little blunt, something Miss Murong is sure to not like. Just say it, it's just a thought and not truly enacted either. I'm also much more tolerable now. Oh, then my answer is… Zhuo Fan showed his evil smile, stirring the entire alliance to duke it out regardless of bloodshed. Who do they think I am? I've gone through thick and thin and they think they can chop me off like that. Bring it. Dong. Murongzu blanked out, floored by Zhuo Fan's thuggish solution. That's your answer. It's like sending everyone to die for you. Ha ha ha, I told you that you wouldn't like it and you said you could take it. Zhuo Fan said calmly. Miss Murong, that was a joke. But my solution can handle it in one move, fighting all the way. Have you ever heard of the bold fear the resolute and the resolute fear the reckless? Sometimes the scariest people around are the crazies. Nothing beats your crazy. Can the Luo alliance's strength do it? There's no need to. They only have to look like it to scare the other. In fact, it's no different from Bailey Jingwei's tactic. Zhuo Fan grinned. Miss Murong, do you still remember our talk at the beginning? Trend, yes, that, Zhuo Fan said. The Luo alliance isn't even close to a tenth of the central area's power, but a spark can trigger a great change. The Luo alliance with a few allies can hold at least a third of Western land's power. How would Double Dragon Manor handle such force? Maybe ignore it and let the central area crush it, but then what will be left of Western lands? Without the Luo alliance, even with Western lands being Double Dragon Manors, they would earn nothing but ire. Could the other three lands stand still while Western lands goes through a bitter war? The loss of one land means the death of all. The others are sure to disregard any honor or fame then. This is a siege they have to hold out. So my solution is to hold Western lands hostage, thus all four lands, and by extension everyone, to wage bitter war with me for my own benefit. But won't this lead to a world war like before, with heavy losses? Murongzu's eyes shook. You're a lunatic, ignoring the consequences. Luo Yunhai is far more reasonable, Zhuo Fan said. He is indeed reliable, not wanting to let his family suffer. Ha ha ha, Miss Murong, you must have forgotten that Central Area is in no position to fight the four lands again. That's why Bailey Jingwei could only glare at my tactic without retaliation. There's your trend. The five lands would then have useless peace talks and the prince died for nothing. You're twisted, Murongzu huffed, though a smile played on her lips. Zhuo Fan's plan may look insane, but the results go in the right direction. This must be where righteousness and demonic intersect. If you figured it out, can't the Luo clan as well? It may not be that simple. Leng Wucheng and Zhuge Chengfeng aren't just for show, but they wouldn't mention it. Why not? They'd never propose something unless absolutely certain, Zhuo Fan sighed. A large deployment needs plenty of pawns. The Luo clan has too few. They don't know how big Devil Palace is and if they would work together, nor do they know Bailey Jingwei's limit, and if they themselves can sustain such a plan. With so many unknowns, the most important is in the end their apprehension, drawing Double Dragon Manor and other lands' leaders' fury that would burn the Luo clan to the ground at some point. This strategy would never come for those playing it safe and without resolve. The three are all excellent masterminds, but not rulers lacking in drive. Zhu nodded. Yeah, who else in this world would bet on victory using the entire population as a bargaining chip but a demon like you? In any case, it's good to be careful. They also lack the foundation to take such risks. Zhuo Fan took one last look at Luo Yunhai in the distance and then vanished. Zhu followed him. Yunhai left with the crime of killing a Central Area prince on his shoulders, followed by the retreat of the 5 million army. The four lands breathed easier, rejoicing at having avoided another bitter war. Whatever Bailey Jingwei was thinking, they never wanted to wage war with him. Be it in strength, numbers, and peak experts, they lost to the Central Area by a clear margin. In a high-level battle, last time they had Zhuo Fan leading them, so who was to match Bailey Jingwei's brains now? The leader's joy and celebration was Luo clan's sorrow. Everyone with Luo Yuncheng and the numb Luo Sifan sat in their chairs with worry. The three minds sighed, the venerables lowered their heads, losing their boldness. Bam! Li Jingshan slammed the table and jumped to his feet. We're going to get clan head back, hide for a while and the news will just blow over. Bull. Did you forget who holds him? Sword Star Empire. Have you forgotten the miserable defeat to Danking Shen? Save him, watch out not to leave your life first, humph. Lang Wucheng glared back with a louder voice. Everyone started, for Sir Lang was always respectful to the venerables. It was clear that even he took the loss hard. Li Jingshan slammed the table again. What then? Are we going to let clan head go with them and have the empire execute him? I've been with clan head in wars for 100 years now and never so furious. Elder Li wait. Zhu Chengfeng was quite calm, his eyes sharp. Bailey Jingwei is known as the best minister in the world. His schemes are deeper than anyone's. Nobody can rival his strategies either. Did he make such a convoluted plan just to take our clan head's life? No disrespect, but no matter how strong the Luo alliance is, it's far from worthy of his full attention. The play has yet to end, just wait. The others nodded in silence. Luo Sifan lit up. Grandpa Zhuge, you mean Dad will live? He should. Clan head is a pawn that Bailey Jingwei now may use in some way. What's certain though is that a pawn isn't to be discarded so soon. Zhuge Chengfeng frowned and sighed, but Bailey Jingwei is treacherous and cunning. We may guess his next plan, but what of it? We don't even have the strength to hold negotiations. Steward Zhuo was the best at this. Lang Wucheng sighed. If Steward Zhuo was here, clan head would have never been taken. He'd have a way to make the Central Area suffer for it. The others all nodded their heads, recalling the good old days. Steward Zhuo. Luo Sifan let the words sink in. Is he the one Auntie loves? How could he save Dad? Pa. Patting her head just a bit harder, Luo Yuncheng held a bitter smile, her eyes filled with emotion. Yes, the Luo clan would have no problems with him around. Sifan, you may not know, but Steward Zhu is our first steward and the founder of the Luo Alliance. The first 7 elders all know Steward Zhu's power back in the day, playing a pivotal role in what the Luo clan is today. Li Jingshan was grave. With clan head's righteous style, the people respect us. But Steward Zhu commanded with an iron fist, shaking many of us just thinking about it. But more than anything, he has our admiration and reverence. Clan head is a righteous leader while Steward Zhu was a tyrant. The Luo Alliance's foundation was laid by Steward Zhu every step of the way. Without him, there wouldn't be a Luo Alliance. Luo Sifan gasped, really? Is he that great? I thought he was just Auntie's lover, and so you didn't talk about him to not make her sad. Now I see he was so important to the Luo Alliance, even more than the 7 elders. Not just important, the elders bowed at his coming. Yu Ming finally spoke, recalling his past. In essence, he was the Luo clan's clan head in its darkness. Darkness, yes, the Luo clan couldn't have grown so much without a dark past. Yu Ming said he is behind it all. He handled and fought everything without qualms or fear. After he left and clan head took the seat, our lives changed. The darkness remained, brought by those 2 old men, but not as heavy and cruel. From dark to light, we developed honor and loyalty, winning popularity. Hey Yu Ming, I'm the nicest grandpa to Sifan here. Don't just taint me. Yeah, like you haven't seen darkness either. Zhu Chengfeng and Lang Wucheng joined, glaring at him. Don't go spilling our secrets to the children. Yu Ming smirked, old yet still playing nice. Look at me, I've always said it openly. I never left the darkness. How could you leave the darkness when you're the head of the Shadow Corps, in charge of intelligence? To the oldies snickered, Yu Ming turned serious. One thing is certain, we must save clan head not through honor but the most vile and darkest trick. Old men, bring out all your dirty tricks from ages past and let's see if we can do it. Take what out? We'd have done it if we had any. Zhu Chengfeng rolled his eyes and sighed. We've been racking our brains and still couldn't find anything usable. It seems only Steward Zhu could handle Bailey Jingwei. Luo Sifan lit up just then. Steward Zhu can really save Mom and Dad. If there's anyone in the world that can match Bailey Jingwei and save them, then that's Steward Zhu. Zhu Chengfeng said, Sifan, 100 years ago in the World War, the Central Area's army, directed by Bailey Jingwei, was invincible. With little choice, the 4 lands made Steward Zhu their Grand Marshal. turning the whole thing around in 3 moves and crushing Bailey Jingwei's plan. In other words, if there's one that can foil the best minister's plans, that would be the best steward beneath heaven. Luo Sifan jumped out of Luo Yuncheng's embrace in excitement, going to Zhu Chengfeng. "Grandpa Zhu, tell me, where is Steward Zhu now? I'd have gone to find him if I knew." Zhu Chengfeng sighed. "We only know that Steward Zhu is dead, swallowed by the sea demon 100 years ago. It's unclear if it's true or not, but 100 years came and went without anyone seeing him. Maybe, dead." Luo Sifan's hope was dashed as soon as it sprouted. Having just heard of someone that could bring back her parents, the next moment she found out he was dead. What about her parents? Luo Sifan turned forlorn, tears welling in her eyes. A chuckle reached their ears. "Of course it's fake. Steward Zhu is alive and well." "What?" All eyes turned to a girl grinning from ear to ear. Luo Sifan cheered, "Auntie Shuinger. Sifan, don't worry, there's hope for your parents yet." She hugged the girl and chuckled. Zhu Chengfeng jumped to his feet, as did the rest of them, cupping their hands. "Holy maiden. Shuinger, weren't you cultivating in your homeland? You're back so soon?" Luo Yuncheng rejoiced and welcomed her with joy. Yun Shuang's eyes shone in a mysterious azure light. "Yes, I had been training and saw the demise of Alliance leader Luo, but then his saving. So I rushed out to ask about it, only to learn that Danking Shen was after him. It was certain death, yet abated in the end. Among all the people I know, there's only one man that can change fate, and he did it many times to release clan head Luo of his death. Who do you think it can be?" "Zhuo Fan." Everyone cried out. Then Luo Yuncheng turned dully at Luo Sifan. "Sifan, didn't you say you scared Danking Shen away? Just what exactly happened?" "Did you see him?" Luo Sifan's mind was hit with immense shock. "He's the one auntie, and everyone calls Steward Zhuo. Blind uncle is the first steward of the Luo Alliance." "What? No way, that blind swordsmith is the first steward and founder of the Luo Alliance." In a gloomy forest, a dozen people walked through the bushes. Long Jianshan cried out once Luo Sifan explained, staring with wide and dull eyes. "It's obvious now why he's so familiar to our alliance and knows everyone, not afraid of me, being the grandson of the original elders. He is above even them." Zai Nianyang rolled his eyes, huffing, "Please, he didn't need to be the most important in the Luo Alliance to disregard your origins, not with his strength." "Oh, you're right." Recalling how Zhu Fan repelled the dragon-cleaving Sword King, Long Jianshan's heart sank. Such a peak expert would hardly care about anyone. He must have left since the Luo Alliance was so tiny for him. The Luo Alliance is filled with experts, but none to the level of Sword Kings. Being second best in Western lands is hardly enough to impress this god. Long Jianshan sighed. "He stands at the very top and can defeat the entire alliance by himself, so why care about us? Now we're asking for his help and we're yet to know if he'll accept. Why else then did he hide his true identity? He must not want to be on our side." "Pa!" A quick palm struck him over the head. Long Jianshan shrank, looking back to see Luo Yuncheng staring daggers at him. "Brat, what nonsense are you spouting? You know nothing of our founding steward. When we were at our weakest, he did everything for us without the thought of casting us aside. Now it's no different." Luo Yuncheng spat as she set him straight. "You think all are like you, selfish and cocky. I'll have to pay your grandfather a visit to get you in shape. Your dad's upright act was a bad influence." "Auntie Luo, I was just saying, why so angry?" Long Jianshan's face fell. "Dad may be sloppy, but I follow grandfather's example and uphold our clan's honor." "Ha." Luo Yuncheng laughed and the others smiled. Luo Sifan glared at him, whispering. Long Jianshan stopped back talking. "Steward Zhu is very important to Auntie. Try to complain about him some more and see how she'll tear you to pieces." "That much?" Long Jianshan shivered, sneaking a peek at Luo Yuncheng's icy look. "Auntie Luo, the blind swordsmith can't be your man, right? He. What are you looking at?" Feeling his nasty eyes on her, Luo Yuncheng could read his mind like an open book, snapping at him. Then she shouted in annoyance, "Sifan, are we there yet? Where's that punk?" Luo Sifan bobbed her head, not wanting to earn the ire of a woman in menopause, pointing just up ahead. "There's a sword shack where the blind uncle lives." "I finally found you, rotten bastard." Luo Yuncheng was furious, though the light in her eyes danced with joy. Ignoring Luo Sifan, she rushed forth only to see the place desolate. The rest smiled. "Young miss can't wait after 100 years, ha ha ha." The others were just as eager, hurrying over. But as they neared the shack, they found the bamboo place empty, with Luo Yuncheng coming out devastated. "Sifan, where is he?" Auntie." Luo Sifan glanced at the empty place and rushed inside to check better. "This isn't right. We've been here twice now and it was filled with spiritual swords." "Where have they all gone?" Li Jingshan and the 5 venerables offered. "Yeah, when we woke up from our wounds, there were hung spiritual swords everywhere. How come there isn't any now?" "Humph, isn't it obvious?" That bastard scampered off. "Does he hate seeing me so much?" Luo Yuncheng gave a forlorn chuckle, on the verge of crying. She had been worried sick over him for 100 years, every second of it. Now that she got a clue, what greeted her was a cold and empty place. Luo Yuncheng felt her heart breaking. It was no longer a matter of finding Zhuo Fan, but him avoiding them like the plague. No one could find him, not while he was running away. Luo Yuncheng slumped on the ground, hugging her knees as she sobbed. Did I do anything wrong? Does he hate seeing me so much? Auntie. Luo Sifan had never seen her so devastated and heartbroken. An old hand touched her shoulder in comfort. Zhu Chengfeng sighed, turning grave. Miss Sifan, what happened then? Are you certain the blind swordsmith is Steward Zhuo? No, Luo Sifan frowned. The three were talking while we shooed away. We couldn't hear them and didn't know who he was. Zhu Chengfeng took a deep breath, calculating as he spoke to Li Jingshan. Those three are the strongest while the kids are just in the radiant stage. If they didn't want the kids to hear, then not a word would reach them, not with how large the gap in strength was. Yeah, why would Steward Zhu just let some children eavesdrop on him when he avoids us? Wu Luo Yuncheng only cried harder. That punk, he doesn't want to see me. The others were stumped on how to console the crying miss. But this was not the time for comfort. It was to find Zhuo Fan to save their head. Whoosh, someone flashed before them and bowed, presenting a jade slip to Zhu Chengfeng. Steward Zhu, there's news from the border. The Sword Star Empire sent a jade slip for Steward Zhu. A jade slip from the Empire? Zhu Chengfeng squinted. Bailey Jingwei is ready to use clan head. In that case, he must have wanted to speak terms with us. Yes, Zhu Chengfeng agreed with Leng Wucheng. This might be clan head's lifeline. Let's see what trick he's up to. Zhu Chengfeng pondered, then turned to the crying Luo Yuncheng. Young miss, Bailey Jingwei wants to talk with us and negotiate clan head's fate. Luo Yuncheng raised her red eyes. You mean Bailey Jingwei wants to talk about conditions? Yunai can return? Yes, we'll see what he wants. It might not be good, but hope still remains. Luo Yuncheng wiped her tears and stood up, her tone harsh. Steward Zhu, you three will go with me. Elder Q and Sister Zhu will follow as well. The rest are to stay here and wait for the punk to come back. Make sure to keep him here. Auntie, will he come? There's nothing here. Humph, regardless of what he does, you are to not leave the place out of your sight. Luo Yuncheng shouted, making Luo Sifan flinch in fright. Hell hath no fury as a woman scorned. She wants to tear Steward Zhu apart. Li Jingshan frowned. Young miss, it'll be dangerous going with so few. We must go regardless. Yunhai's life is at stake. At least take more men, Li Jingshan proposed. Zhu Chengfeng denied. Elder Li, it'll be fine. Sword Star Empire is filled with experts. If he wanted to hurt us, our numbers wouldn't matter. He has no such intention. Even surrounded, it won't matter. The issue is that we must step into this trap. Li Jingshan sighed and nodded. Take care. Since it's just talk, Bailey Jingwei won't touch us. There's thousands of ways to grab us, not needing his direct attention. We'll be fine. Zhu Chengfeng smiled, cupping his hands at Li Jingshan. Luo Yuncheng took one last long look at the shack and left with a ruthless heart. Just you wait, devil. I'll chase you to the ends of the world if I have to. Yuncheng's group left soon after, leaving Luo Sifan sighing and returning to the shack. Their task was to wait for Zhuo Fan's return and ask the founding steward's assistance, though the odds were slim at best. Just as they turned around, inside the shack appeared a table and a youth with covered eyes sitting in a chair next to it, enjoying tea as he talked like they weren't there. Luo Sifan stuttered, "Be blind, uncle. Steward Zhuo." Li Jingshan widened, his eyes turning red as he rushed in. A century had passed since the founding steward seized power. Now this man they all admired was back. The three venerables gushed with excitement. Zhuo Fan raised his head, smiling. Elder Li people, how have you been the past century? Steward Zhuo, the highest venerable in the Luo alliance, slumped to his feet and cupped his hands, his staunch expression speaking volumes words couldn't hold. There was also the undying loyalty shining in his eyes, stronger than he showed towards Luo Yunhai. Having never seen the venerables so overwhelmed, the kids were now certain. He was the one all elders in the Luo alliance called Steward Zhuo. It was obvious now just how much effect he had over it, bigger than her father ever had. It was seen from how the three venerables behaved that they did not plead for the clan head, but showed their heartfelt respect by kneeling. Like he was the alliance leader instead. But how can this be? A steward from a century ago may be tough, but to think he can overshadow the clan head, isn't this undermining the Lord and staging a power play? Yet even with all that power, he still left, leaving all that clout behind. Luo Sifan felt she understood why her father and auntie trusted him so and didn't forget him after all these years. Long Jianshan and Zai Nianyang were shell-shocked. They knew of the venerables' quirky characters and pride. They'd never shown such respect unless it was someone stronger than them. It was jarring to see the stubborn old coots so sincere. They aren't like this even around the alliance leader. The two kids found Zhuo Fan even more of a mystery. He looked like a fancy scholar now and enjoyed tea, with no air of savagery. Luo Sifan turned her head, but Zhuo Fan stopped her from doing anything. "Girl, where are you going?" "I'm going after Auntie. They wanted to meet you and should be close still. I'll call them back," Luo Sifan said quickly. Zhuo Fan shook his head. "No need, I don't want to see them, that's why I was hiding." Why, for I'm waiting for the plan to start. Zhuo Fan sighed. I never wanted to drag you into this, but Bailey Jingwei chose you and I have no choice but to make use of you. Please don't take it to heart letting you suffer a bit. Suffer? Luo Siffin's lip shook, running to his side. Blind Uncle Zhuo, it doesn't matter, but Dad and Mom are about to be killed. Please save them, worry not, they'll all be fine. You just need to endure a bit longer and take a bit more suffering. Patting her head, Zhuo Fan smiled and walked out of the shack, reaching the three kneeling venerables. When young Miss returns, tell everyone that the Luo Alliance is just like the Luo clan in the past when facing the Sword Star Empire. To win, you must throw away the unnecessary and return to the darkness. Remember, a house divided against itself cannot stand, and just ignore everything else. Zhuo Fan was gone. Everyone cried, Steward Zhuo. No amount of shouting brought him back. They were looking perplexed. Steward Zhuo had clearly shown himself to give him advice, but what could it mean? A week later, at the border between the Empire and Western lands, Luo Yuncheng and her group walked through a thick forest and towards a worn house. A man in black was waiting for them in a bow. The honored Luo Alliance guests. Yes, Luo Yuncheng spoke coldly. I am Luo Yuncheng, the young Miss of Luo Alliance. I am now handling its affairs. You honor us, young Miss Luo. Clan head has been waiting a long time. Bowing again, the man opened the door and gestured. Luo Yuncheng took bold steps inside, with the rest following suit. The door shut, plunging the room in darkness. This did not work to unnerve the group, keeping calm. Clap with a few sharp claps, fires sprung to life, revealing a smiling youth in lavish clothes, patronizing. I've heard of the Luo clan that prides itself in its military heritage. Now that I see you in person, I see it rings true, for even their dame to have such mighty flair around her, I am in awe. Your Sword Star Empire Prime Minister Bailey Jingwei at your service, young Miss Luo. The man gave a bow and gestured to a chair. Please. Luo Yuncheng sat while the others stood behind her. Bailey Jingwei sat as well, men in black at his back releasing mighty auras. Prime Minister, what words of wisdom do you have for me? I could never teach someone like you, only finding my duty in notifying young Miss about one small detail. Luo Yuncheng got straight to the point. While Bailey Jingwei smiled, giving her a fine piece of paper, accused of killing a valuable official from the central area. Your brother is held for execution by heavenly punishment a month from now in the imperial capital as a warning to others. Young Miss, as the only relative of Alliance leader Luo, remember to take back his body, ha ha ha. Luo Yuncheng glared hard, fumming, what are you planning? Nothing, just upholding the law. I'm only doing my duty, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei sipped his tea with a cruel smile. Luo Yuncheng darkened, with Zhuge Chengfeng speaking, Prime Minister, let's be frank here. You've been employing subtle and convoluted tricks, and it can't be just to take the lives of our clan head. Steward Zhuge, I take it, it's an honor. Bailey Jingwei chuckled. They say the Luo Alliance's three great minds are beyond margin, one for diplomacy, one for internal affairs, and one for the military. Their names shook the Western lands. I've long wanted to meet you, especially Steward Zhuge, a former prime minister such as I. It's truly a blessing to meet at last. I'm hardly of such worth. Prime Minister Bailey is the one that shakes the world. No, there's no need for modesty. With that guy having taken power and foiled my plans, I still hold him in great esteem. Bailey Jingwei squinted, showing his vile nature. With all three of you here, allow me to see your skills. I signed the execution order and it's been made public throughout the lands. There's no taking it back now. So how do you plan on saving your clan head? Ha ha ha, since it's a diplomatic matter, we'll have Sir Zhuge go first. The three exchanged glances, growing solemn. Bailey Jingwei was taunting them. Zhuge Chengfeng smirked and said, Prime Minister, what would you mean by that? Clan head hardly has any worth for your nation. Must he be put down? Please feel free to come forth with any request you may have, Prime Minister. Bribery, trying to gauge my limits. No, our offer is sincere, only wanting clan head's survival. But I want his head. Bailey Jingwei's eyes shone. Everyone clenched fists, glaring at him with a puzzled look. Didn't this guy ask us here to state terms? What's he playing at? Chengfeng smiled. Hilarious, Prime Minister, you would take the head of a prince for the head of our clan head. Isn't that a bit cheap? It's unlike your glorious style from before. Glorious. Ha ha ha, since you know of it, then you understand that after suffering defeat because of it, I'll never take such a stance again. Bailey Jingwei mocked. I'm now very petty, in fact, down to the last spirit stone. The prince is nothing, no better than a pig having just above average heritage. The rest is wastage. While Alliance leader Luo is in the prime of his youth, his order respected, his word revered. I find giving a pig over for a future leader the deal of a lifetime. Zhuge Chengfeng hesitated and Leng Wucheng stepped in. Prime Minister, why have you called us here? Isn't it to negotiate? Sir Leng, yes, Bailey Jingwei chuckled. I heard Sir Leng's unwanted contriver title, eyes piercing into the hearts of the enemy. For you to say I called you here for negotiations, then what would my terms be? If you can say what's on my mind, I might just go with it after all, ha ha ha. Lang Wucheng frowned then smiled. How could I fathom Sir Bailey's machinations? Sir can go ahead and say it and let us weigh them. Sir Lang sure is sneaky, probing me like Sir Zhuge did, but I won't fall for it, hee hee hee. Bailey Jingwei snickered. If Sir Lang can't guess, then the next one. If none of you three's answers please me, then I've only called you here to inform you of when to pick up the body. Bye. Lang Wucheng's face darkened. Bailey Jingwei was toying with them, but they could not just leave, not when clan head's safety was at stake, and they had to humor him. Sir Bailey, you can't mean for the entire Luo alliance to give itself to the Empire. They all grimaced. It was the same as betraying Western lands and leaving it without hope at survival. Oh, how interesting. Bailey Jingwei's eyes lit up and nodded, showing a queer smile at the grave Lang Wucheng. Sir Lang, you said it. So tell me, is it high or low? Lang Wucheng frowned. He guessed by now Bailey Jingwei's aim at getting Luo Yunhai was to make the rest follow his whims, but by doing that, that would mean ruining all the work they had in building Luo alliance in the Western lands over the last century. Honor and righteousness would vanish into thin air, earning everyone's scorn as the Luo alliance moved to the central area. And with the power established in the central area already and them having no sword king, they would be marginalized, hardly even able to make ends meet. It was no different than setting yourself up. Saving clan head was important, but over such a steep condition, they needed to reconsider the rest of the people in the alliance. Bailey Jingwei chuckled at their worries. Sir Lang, relax, there's no way the ruination of the clan is worth Luo Yunhai's life. Moreover, the central area has run out of space, large as it is. Settling the Luo alliance would only bring more trouble than help, ha ha ha. Who everyone eased a breath in relief. Had Bailey Jingwei mentioned this term, even Luo Yuncheng would have had to abandon Luo Yunhai to keep the family name. Next, Bailey Jingwei smiled. Sir Yuming is a serviceman of the Luo clan. Try guessing my intention. Say it right and the deal is sealed. Yuming pondered. Prime Minister wants Western lands, but holding Alliance leader hostage can't be to have the Alliance take such responsibility. Maybe you intend to have our borders slackened. Go on. Bailey Jingwei lit up in excitement. Yuming continued after a pause. Luo Alliance has been in charge of defending Western lands for years. Prime Minister Bailey wants Western lands, thus must control its defenses. All right, I'll release the defense plans and the array's weakness to the Prime Minister, making it easy to strike. But this deal is a one-time thing. Marvelous, Bailey Jingwei shouted and slapped the table. Luo Yuncheng said, that's your term? No, Bailey Jingwei shouted with the same joy, eyeing the great minds with scorn. Just how on earth did you even contend with Zhuo Fan is beyond me. Can't you see what I want? Like I said, the order is given and all lands know it now. Changing it halfway will question my authority. You have to give me a very good reason to release him for that. Then what do you want? For the Luo Alliance to cooperate in helping take Western lands? Bailey Jingwei spoke solemnly. What? They all gasped. Work together to take Western lands? That's worse than death. That's a revolt, betrayal, regicide. Forget about the Luo Alliance's righteous name. It could never raise its hands against its old friends in the Western lands. Luo Yuncheng's face twitched. No, absolutely not. Yunhai would never agree to this. He values honor above all else. Learning the Luo Alliance he nurtured turned into a shiv to stab his friends would break him. Young Miss Luo, you're wrong. In this world, everyone is at each other's throat. By not killing them, they'll kill you. You can't accept striking them, but they would not hesitate to do it. Bailey Jingwei smiled and worked his charm. Remember how Alliance leader Luo ended up in my custody. Discarded, cast out by the whole of Western lands. You're too strong and the leaders disdain you, wanting you out of the picture, missing only an excuse. Sure, I used a cheap trick, but if Western lands had protected you, I'd have never gotten Alliance leader Luo. In other words, casting blame was just the spar. For the ones who truly want the end of the Luo Alliance are those bastards in Western lands. Yet you're still thinking it over, Luo Yuncheng wavered. Bailey Jingwei straightened and mocked. Alliance leader Luo is now with me and everyone knows I have you in my palm. You really think Western lands will trust you? Those old bastards know better than anyone just how dangerous any faction whose leader is taken hostage is. But with your clout, they can't touch you, yet though they will wear you down, turning you into a shell of your former selves. By then you'll be nothing but dead meat. We may lose our power, but we can't lose our conscience. Do you even have it? Do they have it? Bailey Jingwei sneered. I still have Alliance leader Luo with me, set to die a month from now. And when I up and postpone it, what do you think the Western lands will think? They'll believe we struck a deal and would see you as spies. You could say anything you want at that point, for your old friends would still point their blades at you, the same ones you hate to kill now. Your honor would be stained all the same, turned into wretched traitors. All shuddered, looking at Bailey Jingwei with hatred and fear. How cruel, Bailey Jingwei chuckled at their obvious thoughts. Don't look at me like that, I'm doing you a favor here. You just have to help me take Western lands and you'll be its rulers. It's only natural. Alliance leader Luo doesn't need to die, and I'll declare it to be an elaborate scheme. We will work together to unify the lands and reach the top. You'll then be made high officials and not traitors, entering written in history books as winners. In short, your betrayal will be washed away. Everyone had long faces. Luo Yuncheng shook all over. Prime Minister Bailey, would you allow our young miss time to consider a reply? Zhu Chengfeng proposed, left with no other choice. Bailey Jingwei nodded, sure, I'll be here 10 more days awaiting the good news. Though better work fast, for your alliance leader is a goner in a month. We know, Zhu Chengfeng nodded and helped Luo Yuncheng out. Bailey Jingwei had one last thing to say though. Masterminds, did you really fight with Zhuo Fan? They flinched. You never had the right, Bailey Jingwei mocked. The three darkened, opting to leave in oppressive silence. Jingwei, he was actually testing us all this time. Curses. He was looking for our own limit while we didn't find anything about his. A real piece of work. The clear moon shone down on the gloomy trees as a group walked hastily among them, with Leng Wucheng and Yu Ming the only ones complaining. Zhu Chengfeng sighed in the end. All right, neither of us could figure him out or how big his game is. He now has Alliance leader with him and plans on squeezing him for all his worth, preying on our affection for Alliance leader and the fate of the entire Luo Alliance. He's right, we've fallen in disfavor with the leaders. If he keeps using Alliance leader for his own agenda, then it's only a matter of time before our own people turn on us and give us a miserable death. Yeah, living is for fame and fortune. To die for loyalty and honor isn't a bad fate either. But to die with scorn, who would be willing to go down like that? Maybe he's right, that our only hope is the empire. He took our clan head and blocked all other options. Bailey Jingwei is too damn good. Leng Wucheng sighed, but then turned to the worried Luo Yuncheng. Young miss must be hurting the most. It all falls on her shoulders, whether to live or die. Maybe she decided to give up her brother, plunging the clan in misery and filling the alliance with shame. Even a man couldn't take such pressure, let alone a woman. Everyone frowned harder. They took 3 days to return back to the shack. Luo Sifan rushed at their sight, saying, Auntie, Grandpa Zhuge, Steward Zhu came. What? Luo Yuncheng cried out, a glimmer of hope piercing through the dark despair. She burst into the shack, searching all over for the one she longed for years and years. She was under too much weight and needed someone to shoulder it. But any search proved to be in vain, finding no trace of him after dozens of searches. Li Jingshan came with a bow. Young miss, there's no point. Steward Zhu left moments after he came. Left. Luo Yuncheng's hope plunged into the darkest abyss of sorrow. Why would he leave? Doesn't he know how much I need him to help me with this problem? How could he just leave? Luo Yuncheng burst out into tears. Zhu Chengfeng came next to Elder Li and spoke. Did he say something? He left a message for you. What message? It's... Li Jingshan recounted Zhuo Fan's words. The three minds frowned in thought. Think of the Luo alliance as the past Luo clan. Abandon everything for the darkness. Steward Zhu means. Young miss, how was the past Luo clan? We only came later and don't know. Zhu Chengfeng asked, sniffing. Luo Yuncheng wiped her tears and spat. How else could it be? In ruins and hunted, we were at risk of starving to death. What did Steward Zhu do? He had the skill to find allies everywhere, trying every trick to get them. Sometimes he even got the leaders of Veiled Dragon Pavilions so confused that they agreed to bring us resources. I warned him that this isn't right since they're allies, but how could they be allies when they were far stronger? They weren't respectful towards the Luo clan but towards Zhuo Fan. His guile was endless, scamming his own allies, saying all the same that he'd pay back. Scamming allies, I see. The three minds nodded, grinning from ear to ear. Zhu Chengfeng said, Steward Zhu saw through Bailey Jingwei's plan and told us we can't handle anything, so might as well give up trying. Return to darkness to find survival, throwing away even honor and righteousness while only thinking of ourselves. As a house divided goes against our survival, raising unrest among us in Western lands, and in so doing the same thing that Bailey Jingwei does. Luo Yuncheng asked, that villain is saying to agree with Bailey Jingwei and strike Western lands together. Since when is he on the enemy's side and asking us to surrender? Ha ha ha, Steward Zhu is prideful and arrogant. Bailey Jingwei lost once, so it's easy to make him lose again. Bailey Jingwei won't soon forget Steward Zhu either. These two mortal enemies would never join hands. Steward Zhu must have a different plan in store. There's no harm in following his wishes, we'll hardly lose anything. Zhu Chengfeng sighed. Bailey Jingwei gave us a single way out, a suicidal one, while Steward Zhu has his plan with it. Sniffing twice, Luo Yuncheng's eyes burned with anger, but Zhu Fan's answer soothed her worried heart, bringing tranquility. Fine, tell Bailey Jingwei we accept. Sifan, don't worry, since that wretched man has a plan, your parents will be fine. Luo Sifan blinked, clueless at her aunt and her blind faith in the man, inspiring trust in her as well. Blind uncle, my parents' lives are in your hands. In an icy wasteland, a lone figure trekked through the heavy snow, the blistering winds flinging the ends of the eye cover. Whoosh, a blue figure pooped in front, cupping his hands. "Big brother, you're here at last. I've missed you to death. Chanking, it's been a while." Zhuo Fan raised his head as he faced the best disciple in northern lands, Ayang Chanking. It was a close-guarded secret that this northern lands expert was actually one of Devil Palace's 3 emissaries, Moon Devil Emissary. Due to Moon Devil Emissary's position and fame he had from his real identity, Devil Palace didn't need to infiltrate the northern lands over the past century, already having it under its thumb. Zhuo Fan patted his shoulder. "Activate the barrier. I'm going to North Sea. You're entering seclusion again, big brother." "Yeah, Bailey Jingwei has made his move and I need to seize the moment." Zhuo Fan said, "I'll be aiming for Genesis stage this time. If I don't come out in time, besides following the plan, I ask that you look after the Luo clan as well." Ayang Chanking nodded, showing a confident smile. "Don't worry, big brother, I'll handle it. But weren't you against getting them involved? Devil Palace never made contact with them all these years. Why would they?" "I've been waiting for Bailey Jingwei to pick his pawn from Western lands, but it turns out to be Luo clan. Since there's no way out, I can only let them trudge deeper and just watch over them a little, that's all." Zhuo Fan sighed in defeat. Oyang Chanking nodded, making a sign to open the barrier, and the two stepped into Sea Bright Sect. Behind it was where Zhuo Fan was going to enter seclusion, in the North Sea housing the Sea Demon. Nothing could disturb his training with the Sea Demon keeping watch. Perhaps none in even the sacred domain could enjoy such lavish treatment. In the Thunder Pavilion of the Imperial capital, Bailey Jingwei was grave as he walked into the range of those heavy rumbling, looking at the streaking lightning with sharp eyes. "Patriarch, I'm back." Bailey Jingwei smiled. "My mistake had caused you such heavy wounds, cutting your boundless life to a mere 100 years. For that, I felt guilt crushing me. We didn't know what to do while you entered Thunder Pavilion in seclusion. It has been 100 years now. In your state, doing anything could be life-threatening, but we know no one can change your mind. But having not come out this past 100 years, rumors go around saying you've passed away, inciting further unrest within the Empire. Rest assured that with me here, the Empire will be safe no matter what. All is set as I begin cleaning up all the dregs. Patriarch, no matter if you're still healthy or gone, watch as Sword Star Empire unites the lands and roots out all traitors." Bailey Jingwei gave one last bow to the rumbling lightning, shouting his last words and leaving with resolve in his eyes. A boom echoed out, shaking the world as Thunder Pavilion crumbled. A huge thunderstorm exploded in the heavens above, with all the lightning gathering soon after into a 300-meter thunder sword, unleashing deadly power. Bailey Jingwei shuddered, looking back. "Patriarch, you're out."